Welcome to the Stellaris Show. It is November 9th, 2024. We got a special show today. You know, I don't know if any of you watched or saw the Dev Diary pop up in the Steam news, but Montu Plays just talked about it. I just watched his video. I wanted to react and respond to his video, but I decided not to. So what I did yesterday was I said, I got to get on this. This is something I got to respond to, because we'd already been talking about this on this show, right? For about the past month or so. I've been telling you guys, you know, yeah, this needs to get fixed, that needs to get fixed, you know. Yeah, there's this issue and that issue. And then, you know, I came out with the DLC video a couple months ago. Now, I came out with that before, I think before Cosmic Storms was released. So, you know, they had just come off of Machine Age, and so the reputation was doing all right, even though Astral Storms, people, as far as I know, a lot of people really didn't like that one. I skipped it, and then I skipped Cosmic Storms, and I also skipped Grand Archive. None of those appealed to me. So it was kind of like shortly after I made that DLC, I was like, okay, I'm starting to change my mind a little bit now. Not so much like, okay, to be clear, I don't, and this is why I'm doing this, I don't think Paradox is a bad company. I don't. I just think they're making mistakes. You know, they're just making dumb blunders. Okay, like they're not going in a good direction. And that can happen to anybody. It's not a case of like, you know, they're, you know, pushing ideology or anything like that. You know, they're being political in a game that's not political at all. Okay, or anything like that, you know? So it's not like they're doing that. You know, they're doing the stuff that the AAA game space is doing. I don't think it's that. I think they're just simply misguided. They're just doing shit wrong. And it happens, you know? People get bad ideas, people make mistakes and stuff like that. So I want to be compassionate with Paradox, okay? They've given us a beautiful game, right? They've given us an amazing game. This game has been going on. I mean, this game's almost as old. Like, the only games as cool as this that are this old or older is like Minecraft or other games like that. Minecraft, you know, it used to be 7 Days to Die, though I've had to step away from that game, and I told you guys why in another stream a long time ago. You probably didn't watch it though. But hey, but yeah, so by the way, before we even do anything else, I just want to let you guys know, today, we're not going to be doing a lot of gameplay. So if you came here, hey, I just want to watch somebody play Stellaris, you can go ahead and skip today, man. I mean, hey, stick around if you want. I want you to stick around. This is important. If you're a Stellaris fan, I think you should listen to this, what I have to say here. I think you should listen to what I have to say. I think you should stick around. I think you should participate. Absolutely. And leave comments and things like that. So, yeah, and that leads me to my next thing. Paradox needs our help, guys. Paradox needs our help, guys. At the very least, the Stellaris development team needs our help. They've been making stinkers, and I can tell when I read their diary and when I watched the Monty Plays video that they're struggling. They are. I can tell. I can read between the lines. They wouldn't be coming out with something like that, asking us what they want. You know, what we want. Asking us what we want them to do if they weren't at a loss. Okay, that's what I think right now. I think we're at a critical. I think Stellaris, the community, and they are at a critical junction, and I think they recognize that, yeah, we need to change some things. What we've been doing hasn't been working. I don't think it has. That's my opinion as of right now. Now, when I made the DLC video, I didn't, you know, like I said, Cosmic Storms hadn't been released. You know, Grand Archive hadn't been released. I had no idea that they were going to do that. If I had known, I probably would have said something about it in the DLC video. Now, like I said, I still stand by my statement that Paradox is generally, they're at least well-intentioned and in the right place. And they had a really good track record, but yeah, you know, lately it's been tough for them. They released City Skylines 2, and that was according to a lot of people, that was a total stinker. And I didn't play it. I wanted to. It was a disappointment for me because I went to go buy it and I saw mixed reviews. I'm like, what? City Skylines 2 has mixed reviews? How? How did that get mixed reviews? Right? So yeah, I was scratching my head too. So you know what? I say today, I am very close to making a video response to this. I have worked overtime, guys. I worked my butt off yesterday. I was possessed, dude. I was like, yeah, I am finishing this. This is important. I need to get this out as soon as possible. So I dropped what I was doing, all the other projects I was doing, and I just worked. I just sat there and I wrote up a script. I finished it and I recorded it and I'm about done editing it. Okay, the audio. So all I got to do then is slap a couple pictures on it, which I'm not really going to invest too much into the visual. I'm just going to, you know, do just enough so it's not, people aren't seeing a black screen, right? But and in fact, I was thinking about just recording one of my streams over it so people could watch gameplay and keep their eyes, you know, entertained while they hear my words. And maybe bring up some pictures of the things I'm talking about from time to time if it's relevant. But today, what I wanted to do, because I have this script, I have it written up, I wanted to reference the script and kind of do a deep dive on it. So, you know, and give you guys a preview of the video I'm going to make in the next couple days. Because I am dead set on releasing this. I need to release this as soon as possible. This is something I need to do, obviously. And so, yeah, because Stellaris is in trouble, guys. It is. It is. I'm gonna admit that right now. Now, Montu didn't say anything like that, but I'm gonna say it for what it is. I'm gonna call it out. Stellaris is in trouble. The devs are in trouble. Paradox is in trouble. They are. They need our help, guys. That's why they made that post. I firmly believe that. They made that post. They need to know what to do next. So we're gonna spend time, and I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna break it down. Not only, you know, what is up with Stellaris, like the state of Stellaris, but like what could be changed and worked on to A, fix Paradox's reputation, B, make them money, you know, make them more money, increase their revenue, and then, you know, from what it is right now, and then, you know, C, expand their player base and give them massive street cred. So let's go. We're gonna go over it right now. But yeah, again, sorry guys, today we're not gonna be doing that much gameplay. This is more of a talking stream today, and we gotta do this every once in a while, right? As every once in a while something like this comes along. This is a show, right? It's not just Stellaris gameplay. It usually is, and I try to make it that most days. You know, I try to give you guys good entertainment, but I think this is good entertainment too. This is something that we need to do. So let's see if we can save Paradox, guys. Let's see if we can save Stellaris. Okay? Because I don't want this game to die. I know you guys don't either. You know? I don't want that to happen. And you know what? I had somebody, the other reason this triggered me and made me work on this video and doing this today is because somebody asked me the other day about, what do you think about Stellaris 2? And it dawned on me, I was like, wow, well, Paradox fucks that up. Dude, we're screwed. You know, I don't want to say I'm screwed, but yeah, it would hurt my channel for sure if you guys quit playing Stellaris. Let's be honest. Now, if you guys choose to quit playing Stellaris, that, you know, I respect that, but like, yeah, I would have to do something else, and I don't want to do something else right now. I like making Stellaris content. I do. Now, I'm not like Montu, where it's my life. You know, as you guys know, I cover other games, I do other stuff, but Stellaris is my bread and butter. Thanks, guys. Like, and I thanked them I'm going to be thanking them in my video, too, at the end. I'm going to be like, hey, I want to thank you, Paradox, for a beautiful game that put me on the map. Helped me get Partner. Now, I could have still gotten Partner without my Stellaris content. I could have done something else. I could have broken into some other niche or whatever. You know, Fate could have had other plans for me. But it might have taken a lot longer. Who knows? Who knows what would have happened if I had never come out with that first Stellaris video. So yeah, for that, Paradox, yeah, I want to tell you, at the bottom of my heart, I'm forever grateful. I am grateful. And I do appreciate Paradox and the Stellaris devs. And just the fact that they're making this post sets them apart from those crappy, disgusting AAA companies and the stuff that they're doing right now. Yeah, I mean, so that aside, let's get into it. I hate using that because all these YouTubers use it, but I don't want to be like them. But but I don't know. So, there's a lot of YouTubers I watch that use that phrase that are pretty cool. Not knocking them. So this is my response to the Dev Diary feedback request. They requested our feedback, guys. So if you get a chance, please look at your Steam library and look at that post. You know, the Dev Diary. Okay. Yeah, exactly. It shows they feared how far they're getting away from the core aspects of Stellaris, and shows that they actually give a fuck about what the fans say. They do, guys. They do care about us. Okay, don't get it twisted. This is why we're doing this today. I want to help them. They want to be good, okay? Don't you want to help a villain who wants to be good? I mean, genuinely does, and you could tell they're honest. They want to change. Of course you'd help them, right? Of course you want to help someone change who's being a dumbass, right? They're just being a dumbass. It's not that they're actually, you know, they're evil. They're just making bad choices, but they want to do better. I respect that. I help those people every day. I do. You guys don't know it, and I can't talk about it. But I help people who, you know, who try to change their ways. I've helped people change their ways. So you gotta like when people genuinely want help, when they genuinely want to better themselves, and I feel this is what they want to do. So let's get going here. So this is my response to the Paradox feedback request. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about this, you know, for a couple hours. All right, or as long as we need to, as long as, you know, until it's done. But I'm going to put this in, like, it's going to be like a 20-minute video or 15-minute video very soon. Very professional. It's going to be scripted and everything. So you're going to see the polished version. So this is the unpolished version. Kind of like the director's commentary, if you will, of this. Think of it like that. You know, you watch it. Remember, like, Blu-ray or whatever, you'd see the commentators, you know, feature. And so you get to watch the movie and you'd hear the director in the background talk about, okay, well, this is why I did this and all that stuff. This is kind of going to be like that. All right, so I wrote here. So Montu just dropped a video, and I thought about making a reaction video to it, like I said, but I don't want to risk getting flagged or anything against terms of service. Not that Montu would do that. So I will make a response to the diary questions itself. I have already left a comment on Montu's video, so if you saw that, you will notice the same points here. I will not waste your time reading the wall of text of diary. If you want, you can read that. I will simply answer the questions. And, you know, I could read the diary right now. Maybe I should. But for right now, let's not. Let's get through this, okay? But yeah, they released a diary, and and they asked some sample questions. Now, I looked at the sample questions, some of them, and I'm like, I don't think those are sample questions, dude. I think those are things you're actually thinking about. In my mind, that's what I'm, you know, that's the conclusion I came to, is that this stuff, why did they bring those up of all things? They could say those are examples, but I think that's stuff that they're thinking about. So starting with Stellaris to You, I believe the development as of late has put way too much focus on RP content and not nearly enough into improving the game's mechanics and content that matters like Machine Age did. So to really simplify and shorten this, make more Machine Age level content and only do the RP side quest content just enough to keep people like that, or people that like it, from quitting. I didn't mean to say people like that. I apologize. That was a Freudian slip, okay? But people that like it from quitting. And, you know, if you like that, that's okay. That's fine. I'm not opposed to that. Though that's a part of Stellaris. Yes, as much as I don't like the RP, and I'll admit it, I know that a lot of people do. And yeah, that is a part of Stellaris. I don't think Stellaris would be the same if it didn't have those annoying event pop-ups. And you know what? I've been able to manage them better lately, so they don't upset me as bad, alright? But I still don't like to read walls of text, but some people are fine with it. You know, some people come off the days of Neverwinter Nights and whatnot. And you know, back in the day, that's all we had when we played role-playing games was walls of text. And I had to read them too. So, you know, back in the day. So, I understand. Like I said, I'm not hating on you guys. You know, let's come together here. But I do believe, though, that should not be the focus of Stellaris gameplay. That should not be the focus of Stellaris DLC. That is not what they should be focusing on. Okay, they should be coming out with that once in a while. They should not... They need to be focusing on Machine Age stuff. That's what they need to be pumping out. Not this story shit, not astral planes or cosmic... You know, focusing on those annoying storms. No, like, they need to come out... They need to be... They should be releasing Machine Age every single year. I'll just say it. I'll come out and say it. I'll say what a lot of people are thinking. I know a lot of you agree with me here. What if the devs made a Machine Age every single year? Dude, we would eat that shit up. I'd be like, shut up and take my money. You know what I mean? I did that with Machine Age. I'd be like, shut up and take my money. You know, really, if they came out with a banger like that every single time, I think it'd get to a point to where people wouldn't even care about the price. They'd be like, you know, hey, this is cool. I'm okay. Yeah, that's a little spending, but I save for it. They always come out with something good. It's like the Call of Duty fans, right? They're like, there's a new Call of Duty every single year. Now, Call of Duty has its own controversy, and I'm not going to get into that. But, you know, and it has been pretty stinky lately. And I'm not a Call of Duty fan. I've always been, I mean, back when I was a shooter, a competitive shooter, I was a Battlefield guy, so I doubly hate Call of Duty. but a lot of you guys do, right? So, I mean, Call of Duty's really popular, but, like, there was a golden age where, like, they were pumping out Call of Duty constantly, and people were eating it up, and they were constantly playing it, and there still are. So, they need to be doing that. They need to just pump out that stuff. They need to be pumping out stuff like Overlord. Well, maybe not Overlord. I mean, some of you would argue, I hate Overlord. I don't. I liked Overlord. But that level of events, they need to be doing that level of a DLC every single year. That's the first start, okay? So, or they need to be coming out with a Utopia every year. Imagine if they came out with a Utopia every year. Like, Utopia level, like, as far as goodness, as far as great content. You know, the content on the level of Utopia, dude. This game's player base would skyrocket. I mean, they would get a fresh batch every year. They would get so much money, alright? Especially, and I'm going to talk about the price too, guys. Because the price is an issue. Trust me, it's coming up. I'm going to talk about it. So an example of what this could look like, and what I would like to see, a Machine Age level release every 6 months or a year. And an RP event, wall text, side quest focused DLC every 2 years or so. That's what we gotta do, guys. I'm sorry. I know you guys are like, man, I don't want to wait 2 years for the story content. I'm sorry, bro. But that's what it's gonna have to... Would you rather have that, or would you rather have Machine Age? I'm sorry, but most of us, I guarantee you, most of us would rather have Machine Age. If we had to pick, like, okay, alright, I guess I'll wait for the story every 2 years. I mean, even if I liked the story, I would rather have Machine Age every year and have to wait a couple of years for the story stuff than have the story stuff over and over and over again, like 4 times a year. No, dude. Now it seems like you have a Machine Age level event every 3 years, mixed in with 5. Meh, yawn, story pack DLC that is priced almost as much as the Machine Age. That's the other thing, too. And I didn't say this, I'm not going to say this in the video, or I didn't say this in the script, but let's talk about the kind of story stuff that story DLC that they've released lately. Do any of you like it? I mean, it sounded so boring. I was just, dude, I can't even try this. I'm not even going to pay my money for this. This looks boring. It does not look appealing to me at all. I'm stingy, dude. Like, I am stuck up. I am. I'm very picky. You know, but like, That's my right. And it's like, I'm sorry, but as a Stellaris player, and I'm not, I don't have the YouTuber hat on right now. I'm not gonna play this. This doesn't interest me. This is about something completely unrelated that I've never had interest in. Like, it'd be one thing if they were like, okay, we're gonna come out with a story DLC about machines, right? Like, it's just gonna be about machines. It's gonna have all these events around, machine revolts and things like that. I would consider getting something like that. I'm like, oh, well, I like machines. I like machine empires. Yeah, I could consider getting some more annoying pop-ups around machines, like around machine stuff. Maybe getting into that a little bit. Some special event chains and stuff, or like involving machines. Like, make it themed. Paradox, like, well, I mean, they do, but like, make it themed about something we like. Not about something we don't like. We don't like cosmic storms, or at least I don't, and I know a lot of other people don't. And I respect your attempt to try to make archaeology great again, but like, or great period in the first place, but like, dude, I mean, Astral Planes was not the way to go about it. So yeah, I mean, as far as, let's look at the quality of the story DLC. I don't think they covered anything interesting. They need to, if they're going to do a story DLC, they need to do something interesting. They need to come out with interesting stories. Like stuff that's appealing, to the masses. And like I said, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody here that liked this, okay? If you liked it, great. That's cool, but here's the problem. Go look at the store page for Grand Archive. Look at it right now. You'll see the problem. Look at how many reviews it has. 130. Yeah, it's very positive, but wow. That could be 1,000. I mean, with the player base that they have, only a small fraction of the player bases right now has been buying their recent DLC. Even Machine Age wasn't doing that good. But I know why Machine Age wasn't doing that good, because it's $25. In a time, we all know the time we're living in, right? They know the time we're living in. And they priced that at $25. You're asking us for money we don't have. Right, guys? I mean, I think I make pretty good content. If you guys were able to give me money, you would do so. That's my attitude, right? I'm not, like I said, that's why I'm not an e-beggar. Like, we're in tough times. Regardless of where you are politically, we are in tough times. It's that simple. It's that simple. And they need to, Paradox needs to wake up to that. So, and that kind of leads me to something else. Actually, I'm going to say it here. I'm not going to say it in the video. Also, the other thing I want to say to Paradox. Paradox, stop being a CFO. Okay? Start pleasing your customers. Okay? You're not going to make money being a CFO. You are going to make money pleasing your customers. It's that simple. And this is how, this right here is an example of how they could do that. Start coming out with story DLC about the interesting stuff in Stellaris. Okay, so, like, for example, people think hive minds are really cool. Well, start coming out with DLC story packs about hive minds. About genetic ascension or things like, other aspects of the game that are popular. And keep in mind what's popular. What people really like. I have a really hard time believing that more people are into the Yankee than people that are into hive mind. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm totally delusional here. But I make a bet. I would make a bet. If we did a poll, do you like hive mind? I might even do this on a post after this. Would you rather have content focused on hive mind or the Yankee? I guarantee you, most people would pick my hive mind. Or let's say machine. absolutely people pick machine or cybernetics. I mean, come on. Paradox, you have so much material to work with. You have so many things you could pick to do a story about. But you're picking this obscure, small stuff that nobody cares about. Or that a lot of people don't care about, or that they may care about in passing, but compared to the other stuff, they don't care about that nearly as much. So that's my point. So yeah. So that leads me to the next thing. So the next thing is price. So let's talk about price. Paradox, please listen. My viewers have commented over and over about how pricey the DLC is each release. However, I think the big problem that needs to be addressed is you still have releases that are almost 10 years old priced barely less than they were on release. Dude, in fact, that's a problem I have with what they're doing. I have an issue with that as well. Like, I think it's absolutely silly that Utopia has been out for almost 10 years. I don't know exactly how long it's been out, but it's been a while. It's been a long time. I mean, when did it get released? Like back in 2018, 2016? I mean, like a year or two after Stellaris 1 released. I mean, yeah, dude, you can't keep pricing that at 20 bucks. I mean, you can't even keep pricing that at 10 bucks. That's like, you know, it baffles me. Yeah, I just want to slap some of these guys, some of these publishers or whatever that have these $60 games out that have been out for 10 years. I'm like, are you kidding, dude? You're trying to sell a dinosaur for 60 bucks. That's what you're doing. Like, no one's gonna go for that. It'd be one thing if it was the next big thing, or if it was state of the art, or it just came out. We get that, but I don't know about you, but like, I'm not gonna pay 60 bucks for, or full price, for something that's been out for 10 years. That makes no sense. That's ridiculous. And I'm not gonna wait for it to go on sale. I mean, so I can understand people that just totally passed on it. There's people right now, I think they would get the DLC if you just made it a little cheaper, you know? Or, and here's my solution to this. And here's my other point I want to make. This is my official opinion on the subscription feature. The subscription feature is not good enough. You really need to either make that DLC permanent, dirt cheap, or simply add it to the base game as a thank you to your loyal and potential new player base. This would actually net you more money and revenue from the new players that would try Stellaris if they knew they were getting a much bigger game now than the original. In fact, it would justify them continuing to price Stellaris at 40 bucks. That's the other thing. You're charging, again, you're charging full price for a game that's been out for almost 10 years or more. No, dude. People aren't going to go for that. I mean, I guess I can't speak for other people, but I've spoken with people enough. And that's what I believe. I mean, that's at least my perspective there, what I've seen. And I've had discussions about this with other people, and they agree. Everyone I've ever discussed this with agrees with me. Like, yeah, it's stupid. I don't know why they do that, you know? And it's not just an echo chamber thing. Like my best friend, he is quick to disagree with me, and he agrees with me about, you know, about these kind of practices. Okay, so Paradox, that's something else you can do. So the old content is not going to make any more revenue like the new stuff will. Also, you would get mad respect, Paradox, from your player base, and it would improve your brand drastically, which, from what I have heard, it is on the rocks. Especially after Astral Planes and Cosmic Storms. I don't know, anybody disagree with me? I think Paradox is shifting into hot water, especially after City Skylines 2. And it's not just with Stellaris, like, it's just their brand in general. Their games have started to stink. Shit is starting to stink, right, guys? I think I can speak for a lot of people here. You know, And that's terrible. We don't want that to happen, right, guys? We don't want that to happen. So we're telling you the truth, Paradox. This is what you need to fix. This is the stuff you need to focus on. You know, not trade, not any of that other obscure stuff. No, you need to focus on these issues. These issues are holding you back big time, you know? But yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think really, now I didn't mention in the video, but one other thing they could do that I have discussed on this channel is, or proposed, is that they could just basically come out with some kind of bundle or package that's really cheap that gives you most of the DLC that came out, you know, up to 3 years ago. So we're talking like, you know, Overlord, Utopia, all the stuff that came out more than 3 years ago. You're gonna get it all for like $10 or something. I don't think that's unreasonable. And a lot of people would enjoy that. I think they would. I think a lot of people would go for that. You know, it would get their foot in the door. Like I said, you just need to make stuff cheap. And I did some math, guys. Now it was bad guesstimate, you know, ballpark, you know, caveman math. But I want to give you an idea of what I wanted to get a glimpse of what the numbers could be like if they had simply lowered the price. So I went to the review. Now I can't show you it here, but I went into the Steam reviews. I went to Machine Age, right? Their best product by far, and recently. It only had 600 reviews, when Stellaris has like 40,000 or more. I forgot the number, but it's a lot. So a lot more people are playing the base game and not getting DLC. Well, DLC is what should be paying off Stellaris right now, which should be paying the devs right now, but it's not. So I think that's the other reason they're making this post, because they're seeing, man, we need to make more money. Well, yeah, I agree. It's hard to afford, put that development time in just to get that many reviews, to get that many sales. It's not sustainable, right? And I did the math, right? So I asked the internet, I'm like, okay, so what's the average amount of, how many players per review purchased the game? So in this case, it was like, so there was 700, the recents combined with the overall. And like I said, this math is terrible, okay? Don't even bother commenting on it. It's terrible math. I'll be the first to admit it. It's not even accurate. It's not correct. Okay, it's just a thought experiment. That's all it is. And an estimate. So I took that number and then I multiplied it by what the internet told me. The internet told me that on average, it said that on average, 3 times as many players purchase the game as they do review it. So only 30, well, it said only 30% of people who purchase the game actually review it, whether they like it or not. So with those figures, I went and took the price of Machine Age and I multiplied it by that number, by 700 times, seven. So they said 3, so it was 3 times, so like 700 times 3, or, times 3, that would be 2,100, and then I'm trying to remember the math here. And so I got like $525,000. $525,000 for Machine Age. That is nuts. That's terrible. I wouldn't be motivated to come out with any more Stellaris DLC if I came out with a banger like that. I only got $525,000. Let's get real here, guys. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not trying to sound greedy either, but like, dude, they could be making. I think we can all agree they could be making a lot more money than that on something like that. That should be way more popular, that just should get way more money than that. So, and obviously I'm going to be wrong about that figure too. I'm sure that's not actually what they got. And they're probably not going to release that to us. But Paradox, if you're listening, okay? I'm doing stupid math here. I'm doing dumbass math here, okay? And it's very obvious that there's an issue here, okay? The issue's very obvious. So, like, it's very obvious that you didn't make a lot of money off of Machine Age. I can place a bet based on this alone, even though it's dumbass math, okay? So, well then, what I did then was I dropped the price from $25 to $10, and so obviously, imagine if that became $10 tomorrow. Machine Age became $10 tomorrow. I guarantee you a shitload of more people would try it just for that alone. So let's be conservative and say that just it gets 3 times the sales that it did now. Okay, at $10. I did the math. They're still making more money than they are now. Wow, what a concept. You know. That's it. And, you know, but honestly, I think if they did that to Machine Age, if they made it $10, like, permanently, not just a sale, but they made it $10 permanently, all the time, like, the sales would go through the roof. I really do. I really believe that. The sales would go through the roof. They would get a lot more than just 3 times as much. I really do. In fact, I think that would be a lot of people's first DLC. They'd be like, this DLC's mother of the place. This stuff looks interesting. And then they'd see all the reviews. They'd be like, oh, that's really cool. And then their friends would tell them, yeah, that's a really good one. You should get it. You know, word of mouth, right? And then they would get it. Because it's $10. I mean, McDonald's costs fucking $10 right now. You know? Shit, dude. I get Machine Age instead of McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, really. That's a McDonald's Happy Meal. And now in this day and age, right? Sadly. Remember when McDonald's used to cost $3? Wow, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, because that is terrible. But we're not getting political, right? So, you know, but it is a reality, right? That it does prove my point. So, yeah, the old content is not going to make any more revenue like the new stuff will. Also, you would get mad respect from your player base, and it would improve your brand drastically, which, from what I've heard, is on the rocks. Yeah. Paradox, man. Come on, man. On that, I think there needs to be more consideration given to your players to what your players want to see versus what you want to see for yourselves. Don't be like the fun pimps from 7 Days to Die that ignore their players and make content that imbalance changes that they want to see only. So this is another problem I'm seeing with Paradox. Okay? I'm getting the smell and the sense that they're doing this. That they're making decisions because it sounds good to them without consulting their player base first. Now that's funny because now they're doing this, they're coming out with this, you know, post and everything. It's clear that they care about what we think, but I mean, think about it though. If they weren't doing some of this, then why did they come out with Cosmic Storms, Astral Planes, and Grand Archive? I mean, what? That was out of left field. Did we ask for that? You know, I'm going to give you some ideas of what I think, what I wanted, and what I've heard other people say they wanted. But yeah, we'll get to that soon. But my point is that, like, Paradox, you need to meet in the middle. See, it's like me. What do you guys think about me, right? What do you think about my content? Okay? Why do you think I still make Stellaris videos? Why do you think I'm doing this right now? Because I know that's what you guys want. Okay? And as a YouTuber, as someone who's partnered, who actually does want to make money doing this, I can't just be about myself. I can't just make content because I like it. Okay? I do need to make it because I like it, but it also needs to be something you guys like. It's kind of like that Japanese principle of like, you know, okay, you do what you want to do, but make sure it's also something that society wants you to do, you know, that you know, your family or whatever that is the right thing to do, you know, morally, that aligns with you morally, whatever. Don't just do whatever you want to do. Consider these other factors, right? And put them together and then draw a circle around it, and then what's in the center is what you should do. So that, I mean, that's all I've done with my channel, right? I was throwing out videos, and then I threw out the Stellaris video. It's like, oh, well, people like the Stellaris video. Okay, well, I like Stellaris. Yeah, I love this game. Let's keep going. So I kept putting out videos. Now, every once in a while, I'm sure you heard me bitch before that, like, and say, you know, I'm not a Stellaris channel. I still stand by that. But the reality is, you know, I am a Stellaris content creator to an extent. A lot of my content is Stellaris. So if I stop making that content altogether, I'm going to lose half my subscribers. Maybe not half, but a lot of you guys, I know a lot of you guys are here because you like me, and I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, but a lot of you guys, yeah, like today, I'm sure some of you left this stream and were like, dude, he's not playing Stellaris. Fuck that, dude. I just want to watch somebody play Stellaris. I get it, dude. I understand. I am not mad. Not about that. So, because that's what I'm talking about. So, Paradox. If I'm willing to just throw myself under the bus like that in front of you, what does that tell you? This shit is real. You got to consider your players' wants and needs as well as your own before you make any content decisions. That's all I got to say there. So, okay, let's talk about what is sacred and should not be touched. Okay, let me think. I think one of the most perfect systems you guys have is most likely the diplomacy system, though it is a tough call because there is really improvements that could be made to that as well. But overall, it's pretty good. Hold on, let me see something real quick. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, there's some parts, you know, you will lost 90%. Saw some people stream and had like 150 views, but when he changes game, it went down like, yeah, no, this shit's real. You're right, Fenru. And welcome back, by the way. Yeah, Fenru's right, guys. If I suddenly just stopped making, in fact, it happened. Well, actually, I was surprised. When I moved to the Philippines, I stopped making content for almost 9 months. 9 months of no Stellaris. And then when I got back, I think I did make one Stellaris video. That may have saved me from just having a crash. But I may have started making Philippines videos. Now, I can imagine being one of you guys that's like, I only like Stellaris, seeing that and go, oh, yeah, screw that guy. Unsub. That simple. That's what's going to happen to you, Paradox, if you keep going down this route. People are holding on to their patience. I guarantee you. Can we? I know a lot of you guys agree with me with that statement. I know you guys, a lot of us were just like, oh, they'll change, you know. They're and you, thank you guys. Thank you for being patient with me while I moved. I appreciate it. I do want to say that while we're here. You know, when I was making the Philippines videos, when I was trying new stuff out, when I was moving and having all these new experiences, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me. And I did lose, well, and the crazy thing, I must be a pretty good creator because not to toot my own horn, but throughout all of that, my number really didn't go down. It just slowed to a crawl. My subscriber, you know, gain, you know, I guess that's what it's called. You know, my new subscriber rate, you know, my subscription rate slowed to a crawl, like the lowest it had ever been, you know, in a couple years. So, like, it hadn't been that bad since the days I was just live streaming World of Warcraft, when I wasn't really working on my channel that much. So, yeah. But anyway, thanks for sticking with me. I just want to say that I appreciate that. So, and look where we are now. So So I think one of the most perfect systems you guys have is most likely the diplomacy system, though that's a tough call because there's really improvements that could be made to that as well, and we'll get to that. But overall, it's pretty good. You know, I got screwed by hyperlane placement sometimes, but I overall have been helped by it more than hurt. So that is something I think does not need much attention. Yeah, I think hyperlanes are fine, guys. I think diplomacy's fine for the most part, but I am going to talk about trust. Trust is something I think they need to look at. The trust mechanic. I think it's underdeveloped. I think they could do way more with it than what they're doing. Okay? I think you could get a lot more power. You should be getting a lot more power from trust than you currently do. Like, I think, and I'll get to that, but I'll just say this real quick as a preview. When it comes to trust, I think if you have enough trust with an empire, they should be your bitch. Seriously. They should do whatever the hell you want them to do. Like, if you want to be in a federation, yeah, I'll be in a federation with you. If you want to, if you want to vassalize them and they're weak enough, yeah, I'll be your vassal. It's cool. They should agree to everything. They should just agree to whatever the hell you propose. So that's I think they should do with trust. Okay, if you have enough trust with an empire, beautiful things happen. Great alliances, stuff like that. And that's the way it should be, right? That's the way it is in reality. So, but anyway, that being said, and hyperlanes are fine. I know I probably lost some of you over that. Some of you are like, I hate the hyperlane system. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know if you guys have been watching my games, but a lot of my games, my ass got saved by hyperlane placement. As much as the times that it did screw me or make things harder for me, there were so many times where hyperlanes saved me from total destruction. One of those times, by far, was, my Imperium of Man video game. The game that I made that content off of. That galactic war that was declared against me. Some of you guys were there. Fenrir, you were there. You were there at that moment that the galaxy declared war on me at like year 300 when I had only conquered like one empire. So I was fighting like 8 or 9 other empires. And I tell you, my hyperlane placement saved my ass. It saved my ass. I don't think I would have survived if I didn't have my hyperlanes the way I had them. So that's kind of some point I want to make there. Okay. But you know what, guys? Paradox. I got one. All right. I got something you sacred should never touch that you've been touching. And that's machine empires. Stop nerfing machine empires. In fact, stop nerfing, period. Stop nerfing, period, Paradox. Stop it. I want to be like Arnold. Stop it. Okay? Don't nerf anymore. Okay? Stop it. Just don't do it. You don't need to nerf anything 99% of the time. Just add more content and make the other aspects more playable rather than making a good feature unplayable. Alright? That's all you need to do, Paradox. I'm going to make a video about this, but Overbalance Obsession is a game killer, so don't do it, please. And any of you that argue with me or disagree with me, I'm about to give you some prime examples of what I'm talking about. Overwatch, Helldivers, Space Marine 2, this is recent stuff, and many other examples of how nerfs ruin games. They do. Nerfing ruins games. Stop it, developers. I just want to say that, yeah. Stop nerfing games. Stop nerfing your features. Change them, sure, or, make small adjustments, but, like, stop nerfing your features into the ground. Stop making features irrelevant. Stop making them unplayable. It pisses people off more than it makes people happy. That's my observation. Now, we didn't have access to this information back when Overwatch first came out. A lot of us didn't realize, nerfing kind of sucks. It took a while. It took us up until this point to really get to see the damage that nerfing causes games. To really, not be able to unsee it. I think Overwatch was the beginning of that where at least for me, where I was like, dude, honestly, I'd rather they had never... honestly, I'd rather Overwatch had not done any nerfs and just kept things the way they were than get into the state that we see it in now. I'm sure any of you ex-Overwatch players or current Overwatch players would agree with me 100%. Like, I would have rather Genji stay the way he was than have them than do what they did and release Bridget in the GOAT meta. I said it. I know I'm not going to get a disagreement there. I think just about everybody hated that. Now, I didn't really play it that much, because that was about the beginning of the end for me anyway. There were other stuff about Overwatch and their balance changes and stuff that I didn't like. Well, let's look at hitboxes, right? I think the only people that complained about the Overwatch hitboxes was like the 1 or 2% of players that were doing esports. That's not a sustainable reason to nerf. But anyway, even though it was justified, I mean, yeah, it was ridiculous that the hitboxes were like that. But still, it made the game... made a lot of the gameplay not fun. At least for, you know... And you can say, well, that's just the baddies, get good. Well, yeah, fair enough. And I did get good, but it was painful. And traumatic. And it wasn't fun. So, like, I mean... And they wanted to make Overwatch accessible to more casual players. Well... Not anymore. So anyway, but I'm off topic. But yeah, and then Helldivers, and sadly, recently, Space Marine 2 even did it. When are these developers gonna learn? When are you gonna learn to not nerf your features into the ground? You know? It's okay to come out with options, but to remove something that people liked pisses people off. We honestly, we are all like toddlers at heart, okay? When it comes to our emotions, all right? What does a toddler do when you take its toy away? Dude, adults are no different. It's just we hide it better, right? We hide it better and we act differently. You know, we don't roll on the floor and start kicking and screaming, but you know, we do an equivalent of that, right? Just we do it in a more mature manner, but we still do it. We still have those 2-year-old emotions of you took my toy away, right? Really, it's just basic instinct. It's human nature, right? So when you nerf something like that and you take something cool like that away, no matter how overpowered it was or how much it was upsetting some other people, you just upsetted a whole new group of people. And then, on top of that, what usually happens here, and this is what I've noticed as well with nerfs, the nerfs don't make the people who complained happy. They're still not happy. So, what was the point? Alright, I'm going to calm down a little bit, guys. But I had to go on a little rant there. I'm sure some of you can agree with me. And if you agree with me on any of these points I've made throughout this video, please leave a comment. Okay, we're going to be here for a little bit, because this is... Yeah, I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit, guys. Okay, so now to list the features I've compiled in my head over my various live streams of Stellaris with my community. Here goes. I'm talking about you guys, you know? Stuff we've been experiencing together, right? Stuff we've talked about. I've talked about this stuff with you guys. You've talked about it with me. You've told me things like, hey, what do you think about Stellaris 2? Or, you know, yeah, I wish they would come out with something about Hive Mind. People in my comments section, right, have said this shit to me. This isn't just me anymore. This isn't just all in my head. You guys are with me too. I'm trying to speak for you guys too and represent you guys. I feel it's my duty, right? As your content creator, you know. I'm not being arrogant or entitled there or you know, assumptive. I'm trying, you know, forgive me if I come across that way, but that's not what I meant. I simply mean that, like, you know, yeah, I have a voice now. I mean, we're about to hit 4,000 subscribers, guys. Thank you, by the way. I'm excited for that. We're going to celebrate. We are, absolutely. I'll have a stream and everything for 4,000. 4,000, guys. Let's get there, by the way. But 4,000's nothing to scoff at. I mean, yeah, it's not 4 million. It's not 400,000, but, dude, it's not 1 or 0. There's a considerable amount of you that, you know, that like my shit. So, I do feel it's my duty to talk about this and say something to Paradox, even if they don't listen to me or see this. So, all right, so the first thing we need to talk about here, Paradox, everyone, and you've heard me say this in my streams, Warfare needs a complete overhaul. Specifically the war exhaustion feature. It is not accurate or reliable in indicating with any realism who is winning, and it prevents complete victories way too often. Example of this are getting to that last... How many of you guys got to that last planet just to run out of war exhaustion? And you've seen this happen to me over and over again. Run out of war exhaustion and be forced to let the Empire live, either and not achieve complete victory, which would have helped me so much. Like, I wanted to vassalize someone, and the war should have been simple, but because of the shit here, because of war exhaustion, I wasn't able to do it, even though I was down to their last planet. I can't tell you how many games I got fucked out of because of war exhaustion. I mean, because of bad war exhaustion mechanics. So this is very frustrating and annoying. I cannot be alone. And you know what? I probably shouldn't swear this stream because I'm talking to Paradox. But you know, Paradox, I apologize if the swearing offends you. Okay, I'm trying to be as nice as I can. But I usually do swear during my streams and when I'm off the cuff. Okay, and this isn't scripted, so it kind of is. But like, yeah, I am reading a script, but you know, this is a live stream, so I'm gonna talk real most of the time. Also, there are way too many instances where all the enemy fleets are gone, all planets taken, yet war exhaustion does not even move. How many guys comment on this? If you have been in a situation in your game where you completely dominated them, they are at your mercy. You have completely and utterly crushed them, and the war exhaustion isn't even moving. It's not even moving. The acceptance, you know, the victory acceptance isn't even moving at all. You got that like -2. I mean, there have been times where it's like, a lot of times where I'll look, okay, what do I need to achieve victory? It says acceptance -2. I'm like, really? There's no more systems to take. There's no more planets to conquer. There's no more ships to kill. What else do you need? Do you want me to just start genociding your populace? Like, it's totally unrealistic. So, yeah, this is unacceptable regardless of what the reasons might be. Absolutely. So, Paradox, that is something you gotta change. Okay? At least for a guy like me. I can't speak for everyone. But I even heard Montu in his video talk about how dissatisfied he is with the warfare system. And I agree with him. I agree with Montu. Warfare needs a complete overhaul. It really does. In fact, they should even consider dropping a DLC surrounded around Warfare, which is something I do recommend later. So also, I have hours of footage that proves that it is very obvious that the computer uses AI fleet tactics and strategies that seem to try and waste as much time as possible, as much playtime as possible, instead of actually trying to win or get the most favorable outcome for the war. I am not saying the AI needs to be more difficult, but far less annoying in its strategy. How many times have you guys seen me fight wars in this game, and they took like 5 more hours than they would have taken if I wasn't chasing the computer around? I know every single one of you chatting right now. I know you've seen me chase the computer around. I know you've seen me vent my frustration about it. And it does look frustrating, doesn't it? I'm sure you agree. I know I'm not alone here. But anyway. So, yeah, instead of actually trying to win, so I'm not saying the AI needs to be more difficult, but far less annoying in its strategy. So, yeah, they just... Yeah. And this leads me to my next point. For the love of God, Paradox, as well, hit and run needs to be disposed of or reworked. It is so unrealistic, aggravating, and wastes playtime. If I defeat a fleet that should be it, I should not have to fight them 6 more times. Nor should they be teleporting onto planets I have already conquered. If they don't have a system with a shipyard, then they shouldn't spawn and should be lost. Seriously, Paradox. Hit and run. Take a look at it. You got to. This is pissing people off. I'm telling you, like I said, I can't speak for everyone, but I have a very hard time believing that I am the only person in your player base that this pisses off. Okay? That is pissed off by this stuff. Okay? I've heard people complain about it in PvP. And other, other Stellaris YouTubers, I've heard them mention how silly this is. Or how broken hit and run is. Okay? Some of them like it. Well, you know what? I don't fucking like it. I think it's dumb. Okay? I said it. So, this would be a strategic importance. Okay. So, yeah. And they shouldn't spawn if they don't have a shipyard. That way, this would place a strategic importance on capturing starbases and shipyards like real sci-fi battles. So, you're thinking like the Dominion War in Star Trek? If the Jem'Hadar had lost all their shipyards, in fact, they actually partly won. The Federation actually turned the tide because they destroyed one of their shipyards. So come on, Paradox. Come on, you can even get realistic here. Being realistic, this is like one of those instances where being realistic is actually pretty good. So, the other solution that needs to be considered is forcing victory on any empire that loses all of their planets and starbases. Maybe fleets as well, though that's negotiable. This would simplify and shorten wars. The reason why you don't want long... Okay, so we'll pause there for a second. Why do I say this? When we might be dealing with a coalition, right? So they might have a chance to free the empire from my grasp. Okay, fair enough. However, it's going to be a lot harder for them to do that if I have total control of everything. And you know what? Depending on my goals and my objectives, it's usually too late. So, really, I don't think that should be a factor. I think they should just disregard that. And also, it would motivate their allies to get their ass in gear and go to that empire and defend them. If they want to keep that empire. If they don't want me to win, then you need to fight me there. Not just hang back in their system or whatever. And the other thing that really ticks me off that's happened to me is I will do that with an empire. They won't surrender, just to find out that the ally that's preventing me from getting that victory is across the galaxy, gated behind other empires that aren't in the war with closed borders that they can't get through and I can't get through. So I've got to sit there and wait for a status quo. That is unacceptable, Paradox. That is the stuff you should be fixing. Not focusing on trade. You should be focusing on that kind of stuff. That stuff pisses people off. Okay? I can't imagine people liking something like that happening. I think that would piss anybody off. For sure. Okay, so... yeah. So the reason why you don't want long, aggravated wars where you have to chase the computer around for hours and fight... yeah, I am laying it thick, guys. I am not pulling any punches today, dude. Yeah, exactly. You guys relate. You guys relate with me. Look at my chat, Paradox, if you're watching this. I got guys in my chat right now relating with what I'm talking about. You know? Yeah, did you help to develop Stellaris? And you know what, to be fair, no, I didn't. I didn't, right? I'm an outsider, you know? I'm spitting my opinions. But hey, Paradox, before you say that, you asked. You asked us for your feedback. I'm trying to help you. You know? I'm boots on the ground every day. I do the Stellaris show every day. Come watch it sometimes, Paradox. You're welcome. You can come on the chat if you want. You can talk to me. I do this every day. I'm in this shit every day. I'm playing your game every day and showing it to people. And we're all seeing this together. This dumb shit. So, yeah. So you have to chase the, you know, So the reason you don't want long aggravating wars where you have to chase the computer around for hours and fight its fleet 6 times is that it is not fun and it burns players out. I mean, so wars need to be as short as possible to avoid this. This is perhaps the #1 reason I have 1,200 hours in Stellaris and not 10,000. Because I love conquering, but warfare feels like work. Not fun. It doesn't feel, it's not fun. Warfare is not fun in this game, which is terrible. Warfare is a huge part of this game. It should be fun and pleasurable. So yeah, please change that. So yeah, it's like in StarCraft 2 if battles were boring. I don't think that game would sell. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Paradox. So you want to know what to focus on. Like, you want to know what Stellaris is. Stellaris is a 4X game. Okay? It is a 4X game, first and foremost. That's it. It's not an ARB role-playing game. Okay? Now, I know this is my opinion, but I'm sure a lot agree with me. It's not a role-playing game. Okay? It has those elements, sure, you can tack that on, but it is not a role-playing game. It is a 4X game, first and foremost. It is a strategy game. And when your war sucks in a strategy game, that is bad. Okay? That's like playing in a competitive shooter with cheaters. Okay? Where the cheaters aren't being checked. No one wants to play that. Games have died because of that. Okay? So, yeah, warfare should be very important to you, Stellaris. Or you know, Stellaris devs, Paradox, whatever. But what, so you're asking what happened, Matthew. I don't know if you just joined, but welcome. By the way, I'll pause here to say again, guys, this is not a gameplay stream today. We are responding to the dev diary asking us for feedback. And so we're giving it to them. Right, guys? We're giving it to them. Or I'm giving it to them. For you guys. And also, guys, I also do kind of want to do a little call to arms here. Especially my chatters, my commenters, whatever, you know, all my subscribers, my Stellaris fans. Answer that survey. Tell them. If you feel how I feel, tell them. Point to my video. Share my video with Paradox. Post it on that, you know, post it to their comment section on the dev diary if they have one. I think they do. Yeah, it's a bitch fest, though. It is. I'm not gonna lie. It's not really a bitch fest, though. To be fair, it really is like a... This is what you need to change, Paradox. If you want your game to be on fire, okay? If you want the numbers you used to have, I guarantee you address this stuff that I'm talking about, you do this stuff I'm talking about, your reputation, your revenue, everything will do a 180. Yeah, go and dry. Do it. Go out there, guys. Like anybody who's watching this, answer that post. You know, and I'm gonna come out with a video in a couple days. I promise, guys. I know I've said that before at times and not done it. No, I mean it this time. I'm almost done. What I'm reading to you right now is the script from that video. I'm gonna put it. It's gonna be like 20 minutes long. By the way, watch that video when it comes out. It's gonna be polished. Link that video to them. In this post, tell them, hey, I think what this guy says would really help you guys, or something to that effect. Like, yeah, just, you know, give voice to what we're talking about here. If you are upset with the warfare system right now, I mean, even Montu is. He said it in his video. He said, hey, it's like, I think the warfare system should be changed. I 100% agree with him. Maybe for different reasons than he does. And I have different solutions, I'm sure, than he does. But I absolutely agree with him. This is the #1 issue. If they were to change anything to make Stellaris better, dude, this warfare system is the same warfare system that came out like 10 years ago. No kidding. Like, I mean, I know that's inaccurate. That's an inaccurate statement. But it's roughly, you know, it's close to the truth. Like, it's about that long. Like, it's been many years since they did anything to change warfare. So, well, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say what I said again. Yeah, like... Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna say everything I said again, but like... With the warfare system... Yeah, I mean... That... Now... you know, yeah, that'd be nice if they worked on that, but like... You know, you gotta pick and choose with these things, right? So would you rather warfare be fixed or something like that? I'd rather them work on warfare first and then fix that. You know what I mean? Though that you do bring up a good point. Now I don't have a lot of experience with L gates, but you know what I mean. So, but yeah, and then to my statement about 1,200 hours in Stellaris and not 10,000. You guys heard me say this before, dude. In my moments of frustration with this game, I've been like, dude, this right here, this is why I don't have 5,000 hours in this game. This is why I am not playing this all the effing time instead of Factorio Space Age, instead of 7 Days to Die and these other games that I have. I would just be playing this game. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. Or I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We don't want to fight the same guy over and over and over again. That's annoying. I don't want to have to fight a fleet 6 times to eliminate it. Maybe twice, at most. And if, like, I think, and I think I didn't give a solution to this, so I'm going to give one now. If a fleet loses, they should at least lose half their shit. At least. If they retreat. If they retreat, they should get punished severely. Yeah, exactly. There's a certain level of polish that we expect by now, Paradox. You've had this game out for a long time. You've had a lot of opportunities to work on this, but instead you're coming out with Astral Storms, Astral Planes and Cosmic Storms, and Grand Archive. I think, put alongside this, I think this is more important. We think this is more important. You know? Yeah. See, that's another issue that a lot of you fucking developers are doing that's stupid. You're not focusing on quality of life. Like, I could just imagine if the Fun Pimps in 7 Days to Die. Now, some of you guys don't know what that game is. It's fine. But those of you that do know, if the Fun Pimps had just come out with one patch, where all they did was fix the bugs, do quality of life improvements, make the game that exists better. Boy, the amount of polish that game would have right now. The amazing game that it would be right now. If they had just done one patch where they did that. But they didn't. You know, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what I see here, Paradox. This is what I see here. You're not focusing on quality of life enough. You've got to do it. Yeah, it may not generate you the cash immediately, but see, this is my other overarching point of all this, of this entire discussion, is that there are other assets besides money. Yeah, fixing bugs takes priority over adding bloat content. And you know what? Thank you for saying that word, Matthew. I appreciate it. Because that's exactly what the last 3 DLCs were. Bloat content. Let's face it, guys. That shit was bloat content. I'm sorry, Paradox. You're probably going to off-click now. You're probably going to feel offended. But it was bloat content, dude. Compared to Machine Age, Astral Planes, Cosmic Storms, Grand Archive don't hold a candle to the amount of interest in that expansion. The amount of goodness from that expansion. I would throw away all of those DLCs. I would refund all of those DLCs to have Machine Age. That's how impactful Machine Age was. Keep doing that. Keep doing that, Paradox. So, alright. Anyway. So yeah, but yeah, I love conquering. But again, war as it is right now is work for me. I have to find other things fun in the game to keep me going. Such as, playing different builds and different playstyles, which is one of the huge strengths that I think Paradox has done really well, actually. So let's talk about how we can fix this. So the biggest way you could fix war exhaustion, Paradox, is allow players to remove it during war by doing certain things, like winning battles where the KD ratio is really good. Example, the report says they lost 6 ships, but you only lost 2, therefore you gain back 2% war exhaustion. So if you actually win battles, you should be rewarded for that, right? It's called morale. When we were defeating the Germans in World War II, do you think we stopped with war exhaustion? No! No! Hell no! We were winning. We didn't even consider a peace treaty. No, we're going straight to Berlin, guys, right? Am I wrong? Especially for those of the guys that play Hearts of Iron. We're going straight to Berlin. We ain't stopping. Yeah, in fact, that's a metric that they could add to warfare is morale. In fact, it could be like exhaustion versus morale. They could be like diametrically opposed, right? So, if you get more morale, then either you get less war exhaustion or none, or you get negative, right? Depending on how your morale is. And then every time you win a battle or you take a planet or whatever and it goes in your favor, they can easily add this up. Then you gain morale based off of that. So if you are actually winning the war, then your morale will reflect that, and it'll be a lot harder to stop you. That's how real war is. That's how wars are in real life. So yeah, I mean, really, but at the very least, being able to have options, right? Do things, being able to do something about the fact that I'm at 90% war exhaustion. I'm like, what the F? How did I get here? Yeah, I mean, like, give us ways to reverse the war exhaustion, to stop the status quo from happening. Especially if we're winning. In fact, like, war exhaustion shouldn't even be a thing if we're winning. But anyway, you occupy one of their biggest planets, you get 20%, etc. But give players a way to remove their exhaustion if they are absolutely stomping their opponent. It's called morale, like we said. If a force has high morale, they will not tire or burn out like a force that is losing. Also, making war exhaustion way more accurate, which this would do, okay? If I capture a system that should give them more exhaustion, especially highly populated planets, and especially if I annex them during the war, i.e. I capture it with a devouring swarm, or i.e. I capture it with a devouring swarm. So, if I permanently take their planet, like say I'm playing devouring swarm, and I permanently take their planet, that's how war works with those empires, or fanatic purifier, and I crush their population, dude, I'm winning. I just destroyed your capital. You are not going to recover from it. How am I the one who has more war exhaustion? You are effed. I should not even have to think about that mechanic now. You know what I mean? Like, I won. My troops are celebrating. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, no, I'm not going to answer that comment. Please, let's not talk about that. Again, we don't get political on this channel, guys. Whether that statement is true or not. But yeah, so I like you, Cinetic, but please let's not get political here. I know what just happened. I get it. But yeah, you know why I can't talk about it, right? You know why I can't talk about that stuff. Okay? I don't. I mean, look what happened to some other creators recently. when they talked about that stuff. I don't want that to happen to me. So, at least not yet. So, you know what? Let's just not talk about that stuff. But you know what? Yeah. This is how real life is. When you're winning a war, you don't stop. Yeah, it is an analogy. That's why I'm not like hiding your comment or anything. It is an analogy, right or wrong or whatever, regardless of your opinion, okay? So, people, you know, I don't know if it does anything to your economy or not. I can't remember off the top of my head. But welcome, not for Riven. I think that's how I pronounce your name. So, the second biggest challenge I feel must be made and is long, or the second biggest change I feel must be made and is long overdue and requested by myself and my community is the espionage and spy network system. You saw this coming, guys. Everybody talks about this. Everybody talks about this. But Paradox, year after year, doesn't do anything about it. This feature is perhaps the most useless and waste of a feature. I am trying to be nice here, Paradox. First, this system needs to be drastically simplified. The main purpose of spying is to gather intel so that we can see their ships, planets, empire strength, and other critical information that we need to know, and we need to know this quickly. Not in 50 years. If I got a devouring swarm next to me, I'm spying on, and I won't have 50 years to wait to see how strong he is compared to me, what his fleet strength look like, etc. This information needs to be attained realistically before they decide to jump me. I mean, I don't think I can state the problem better, right, guys? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Does anybody not agree with that? Now look, some people like the extra little stuff that you can do with espionage, but let's get real here. What do we really want? We want intel. I want to know if that devouring swarm is going to eat me. Okay, I don't care about disabling their starbase building. I don't. No, I need to know if I can beat them or not. Quickly. And if I can't, I better get an alliance or something. You know? I better make some friends. So, that is what spy networks should be for. Not all this other little silly drama stuff. It's okay, the RP's cool, I guess, but like, okay, would you rather have RP the way it is now? Or would you rather have serious, be able to counterplay your enemies? This is how you would do it. This is the only way to do it. But it doesn't work. I would love to just, partake in the espionage system, dump influence into it, and get info on my enemy's ships. I would do it. I'm sure anybody would do it. They'd be motivated to partake in this system. They would say it's great. So, also, there's way too much silly stuff and things that have nothing to do with intel gain. Those things need to get removed. I bet people might like those ideas, but I'm sure they would much rather have a fast intel gain on an empire that might end their run or add to their power than merely disable a building or a starbase. An example of what this could look like is if you have several levels of spy network. First you have systems, then planets, you have relative power, then fleets, then ship details. If you remove an envoy, you gradually lose intel levels until you reach your general intel level, or you put an envoy back on and it starts up again. So, like, say you get a sensor array, not that that's meta or anything, or that I recommend getting that, but let's say you have a sensor array, or you just build one. Well, then, yeah, you could take the envoy off, and your default level intel would still allow you to see what their ships are having. And you could stick that envoy on something else. But, if you want to know about an empire, you need to spend that envoy, okay? And it would give envoys, more, it would encourage you to do more things with envoys besides just improving relations. So, The way it is right now, I could go an entire game with a spy network and not even know where their fleets are, much less their weapons details, so I can counterplay, which really should be the true reason for gaining intel. You could even make it an influence dump. So yeah, let's get real, guys. We want to see what their ships are carrying. We don't give a shit about anything else, especially in PvP. I want to counterplay. You know, and I don't counterplay in this game for that reason, because intel gain is almost impossible. It is almost impossible to tell what they have. Unless you use some of the tactics that other YouTubers have put down, but those are spotty at best and very difficult to like figure out. Like, it's hard for me to look closely at their ship. Like, I shouldn't have to do that. Just get the intel gain. Then I know for sure 100% what they have. See, our spies have learned the Volairen Empire likes a earthly delicacy called hot dogs. Excellent. Spend more energy credits towards the subterfuge effort. Exactly. That's how it is right now. That is exactly how espionage is right now. We're just making stories about learning about hot dogs. No, dude. Give me that intel gain. That's why I'm doing this. I built a spy network to know what their ships have. Like, it's plain and simple. That's the motivation. That's the primary motivation when you're playing Stellaris. For most of us. I think I can speak for a lot of us here. Alright? I mean, the rest of the stuff is just fluff. It's filler. It's content bloat. It is. It does nothing. It just sits there and it looks pretty. But we can't use it. It doesn't really do anything for us. I mean, and not to mention Paradox. I think this is the #1 complained about feature in Stellaris. For me, it's warfare, but for a lot of people, they are livid about the way espionage is right now. Like, people have been asking you to expand on this for a long time. Montu especially, right? We all know, we've all seen Montu's videos where he says over and over again, hey, I really wish they would do something with the espionage system. Yeah. Why have features that don't work or don't matter? Paradox. It's a waste of money. You know? Okay. And look, again, I know I'm letting Paradox have it here, but again, they asked. So I'm giving them the feedback. This is feedback. That's all this is. Paradox is not a terrible company, but yeah, they're making some mistakes lately. And they could go in that direction, so let's save them. You know? Like, the only cool thing I've ever done with the espionage features, and I can't even prove if it was me that did it, was I think one time I did start a war between my rivals because of one of the espionage options. I was like, I'll try this. I was just messing around with it, you know? But that was like a moons aligned situation. That's not something I could replicate over and over again. Or that would be repeatedly useful to me. Like what I'm proposing it would be. Okay, let's talk about the next issue. And I want to try to get a little faster here because this is going to be a long stream, guys. Again, you know, you can always leave and come back to this. So the next issue holding this game back, I believe, is habitability. You've heard me talk about it. You've heard me bitch about it. Right now, the average empire will only be able to use 20% of the planets they claim before mid-game or late game. There are way too many uninhabitable planets. Uninhabitable planets. The obvious fix for this is to shorten the planet types from 9 to 3 and give them the same values. Example, instead of one wet type being 80%, all 3 types are 80%. In fact, I don't think this is enough. I think only one planet type should be yellow and the others should be different percentages of green. There should be no red except the tomb worlds. Now, is that a little unrealistic? Sure. But you know what? This is a game. And sometimes, for the sake of the game, things need to be what they called gamey, right? Where, yeah, they're not realistic, but if they were to be realistic, they would be fucking lame. It would suck. The game would suck if it was realistic like that. Everybody has an example, I'm sure, of that. You know, where, man, I'm glad this isn't realistic, or we'd be having a really bad time right now. Like, you know, I'd probably quit. You know, so I know some games, they are applauded because of their realism. That's cool, but like, yeah, I mean, Stellaris, it's dots on the screen, for crying out loud. You can bend and twist the rules sometimes, where it's appropriate and where it would be beneficial. I think this is one of those times. Like, habitability doesn't need to be real. I need planets, Paradox. I need planets in my games. I don't like doing a 3-planet challenge. I know a lot of people don't. I'm pretty sure I can speak for a lot of people that play this game. I don't think any of you guys like to do a 3-planet challenge unless that's specifically what you're going for. If you're just loading up, be like, what do I get this time? Oh, 3-planet challenge again. Oh, you know? Like, especially if you pick the wrong build, right? Like, for example, you picked a standard empire with no special origins or anything. No virtual ascension, nothing like powerful or anything that like where playing a tall empire would really benefit you. No, dude, you're not going to like that. That's going to be a bad game. So yeah, give us more planets, Paradox. Or the planets that we get, allow us to use them from the beginning. So another fix, if not the planet types, at least make buildings that raise habitability. You've heard me talk about this. At least make buildings that raise habitability that can be spammed. That way we can still use the districts in the beginning and replace the buildings later as we get terraforming. I really think that's what they should do. Honestly, I've thought about it. I've considered all the stuff I just said and I'm about to say. Really, I think that alone, just coming out with buildings where you can adjust your habitability and you can spam it, you could fill all your building slots with it if you wanted to. I think that would fix the problem. I don't think anybody would complain anymore. It's perfectly balanced. It really is, if you think about it. It would encourage you to keep developing the planet, and it would encourage you to get terraforming later, right? And then you could terraform the planet, replace all those old buildings. But in the meantime, while you had the, even though you didn't have the building slots, you at least had the districts and the resources from that. So it's not a useless pixel on your screen. You're actually using the planet that's in your system. That's in your territory. You're making use of it from the beginning. So really, I think this would be the most balanced approach. But, speaking of terraforming, it needs to cost less for normal planets. It really does. Be way more likely to pop up in tech choices, and ecological adaptation should be removed. It's repetitive. It is also unrealistic. Terraformers live on the planets they terraform in most sci-fi novels. How many sci-fi tropes have we seen? How many shows? Star Trek, Star Trek, Aliens, like all these other franchises where they did briefly or long-term show terraformers and talk about them, and showcase them. How many of those were living off planet? Not many. I can count on one hand the times where I saw that going on in sci-fi stories and that we grew up and loved, where they weren't actively doing on the planet. Weyland-Yutani is a perfect example. In the Aliens movie, they were terraforming on the planet and they were living there. So that makes no sense. The whole ecological adaptation technology makes no sense to me. It doesn't make sense from a realistic standpoint, and it doesn't make sense from a gameplay standpoint, because I did all that work and I got all that luck to get regular terraforming, and it took forever just to realize, oh, I can't use it. I've got to wait till end game to get ecological adaptation. That makes no sense, Paradox. I'm sorry. No. So definitely something to be looked at. Yeah, so there's also the idea of making species modification for habitability easier to do or have early game. This could also be a fix. So maybe they could just give you the option right away to modify your species, like to uh, be habitable on different planet types, like another basic planet type. Like for example, you know, let's say right away, I would be able to modify my species. We could even gate it behind a low level tech, a like a maybe kind of like a prelude to the genetic techs. Something easy to get, right? If we wanted to get it, we could get that, and then we could change our species to be able to say we're a wet species, but we want to be a dry species. I can change it to so that we can be on dry planets, that kind of thing. But bottom line, we need to be able to use most, not all, but most of the planets we claim. Most people play on small maps, so this is even more important. Just play tall, you say. Most players prefer a wide playstyle. And you know what? Comment if you think I'm wrong. Go ahead. You know what? I won't stop you. But I stand by my statement there. Like, I have a hard time believing that most people want to play tall. I really don't think so. It's like, would you rather have a Big Mac or would you rather eat a salad? Now, everybody knows the salad is good for them, right? But see, here's the thing. I don't even think playing tall is good for you. I mean, it's a challenge. It'll test your skills for sure, but anyway, it's the best analogy I can come up with, right? But what are people most likely going to do? What do people most likely enjoy? Eating the Big Mac. Wide play style is the Big Mac. It's the easiest, and some people would turn their nose up at that. But you know what? It's the funnest, I think. I think it's the funnest. It does. It tastes good. It's a Big Mac. Not saying I don't eat Big Macs, obviously, absolutely not. But like some of you do, right? I mean, and I've eaten Big Macs in my lifetime. They taste good. They're not good for me. And no, I don't think it's good to just do the same thing over and over and over again. There have been times I played tall before, but no, it's not my preference. I don't have nearly as much fun when I play tall, and I know there are other people that are like me that feel this way too. I don't have nearly as much fun playing tall as I do playing wide. I just don't. All right? So I stand by my statement. I think most players prefer a wide playstyle. Also, ask anyone, it is almost always more fun to conquer the galaxy than ruling it, pulling strings with a tiny empire. Also, unless you are playing a niche build, tall will not be nearly as enjoyable or entertaining as wide. Virtual Ascension may be fun, but I don't want to play it all the time. If I'm playing a standard empire, I will usually need at least 10 workable planets to have a good time. I mean, didn't you disagree with that? I don't see anything untrue there. Based on what I've seen and heard and what you guys have said, how I feel, what my experience. I mean, I have tried tall over and over again every single time. If I'm not doing something specific, like synthetic fertility or virtual ascension or something else, some other kind of challenge, I don't enjoy playing tall. I get frustrated. I'm like, dude, I can't do anything. I can't do anything with this territory. I have no planets. I can't grow my economy. I can't grow my fleets. I can't get more powerful than the empires around me so I can vassalize or form agreements or whatever. It's not fun. Playing tall is usually not fun. If you're especially with you're playing the wrong build. Now, it's definitely more challenging, and yeah, I'll admit it's more difficult, and there is more skill required, and that can be fun. Testing your skills is fun. I'll be the first to admit I enjoy a good challenge, but you know what? I don't want to do it all the time. Sometimes I want to go in there and I just want to devour the galaxy. Or sometimes I just want to go in there and I want to start vassalizing people. You know? No, I don't. I usually don't want to play tall. But anyway, okay, I'm done with that. So, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, all too often I get games where I cannot get more than 3 habitables because the other 10 planets in my territory are all 60% or less. Honestly, I think the most appealing option would be the building solution. This is also the most balanced. This way you get to use the planet that can use all of it later on as much as you... Sorry, I'm butchering this. On as you get more tech. Since you want to free up those building slots, you will be motivated to explore the other alternatives to raising habitability, such as migration treaties, species modification, and terraforming. So, you know, with the building option, you're still motivated to do the other stuff because obviously you don't want to waste all those building slots. You want to use those building slots. So it's a trade-off, right? You're occupying the building slots, you know, you're sacrificing your building slots so you can actually do something with that planet. But you have the option later to change that and actually make full use of the planet. That sounds balanced to me. You know, you're still waiting for its full potential. You're not getting it front loaded to you. And it's not too easy. But at the same time, you're not stuck with all these useless planets. And you're able to progress. Like, yeah, win-win. Okay. The next big issue, and this has been a source of frustration for not just me, but many of my viewers, is the job and pop mechanics in Stellaris. For one, I think it is silly that I cannot simply place my pops on the job I want to work on by clicking and dragging. I don't know the reasons that I cannot do this, but there really shouldn't be any good reason I cannot or I can't, and if no, then that reason needs to be addressed and changed so I can. Does anybody disagree with that? If you could just... Okay, we'll look at it right now. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right now, say I want this priest... I want this priest to go away, okay? And I want him here. The only way I can do that right now is if I do this plus sign bullshit. This plus minus sign bullshit. And go... but the problem with this is that I have no control over where these guys go. Look, none of them went on the minor. Yeah, quality of life. This is quality of life shit right here. If you did this, if you allowed me to just click and drag those priests over to the minors, I'm telling you, Paradox, people would love you. I would love you. And anybody who hates, you know what? Whatever, dude. You know, go to an earlier patch. I mean, I have no mercy. Like, really, dude. Like, anybody who thinks this is fun, I'm sorry, dude. Go play Dark Souls. I don't play Dark Souls. You know, I don't want to play Dark Souls. I want to play Stellaris. I want to manage my empire. I want control. Okay? I think I can speak for other people too who say, we want control of this. Okay? I don't mind the job system, but dude, it makes no sense that I can't move these around on my own. Even if you made it cost something, it would still be worth it. But as you can see, this is completely ineffective. This is an ineffective way of managing your planets. It doesn't work. Okay? Now, even worse, so let's say I open these again. Now, this time it filled. Okay? This time it filled. But there have been a lot of times where I would try, like say I'd favorite them, you know, to get them to go back there, and they don't all go back there. Some of them stay somewhere else. Why? What was the reason for that? So, yeah. And I don't want to go too long there, you know, but you get my point, right? Paradox, just let us click and drag. Just let us micromanage this shit. Let us move these jobs around. We're the emperor. We are the leader of our government. You, little peasant, are going to go from here to here, and that's the way it is. You think they're going to rebel? No, they're going to do the job. Okay? They might curse at you while your back is turned, but You get what I'm saying? So realistically, we should be able to do this, right? And I hate to use the word peasant. That's not nice. I apologize. I don't like that word either. But I think I had to say it to get my point across, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. There is no realistic or unrealistic reason why we shouldn't be able to do something like this. Where we shouldn't be able to just go, you know what? You go here. You go there. No, I don't want you there. I want you here. Simple. Simple. Okay. Let's get back to my script here. Okay. The plus minus button system sucks bad, as you guys just saw. There needs to be a lot more control here when it comes to being notified when a pop is being made and place that pop where it's most effective. I would rather have an alert say, hey, you got a new pop, than an alert saying, hey, this guy gained a level. The pop is more important to me. Wouldn't you guys agree? Honestly, I would get more excited about getting a new pop than I ever would about one of my leaders leveling up. Usually, not always, but usually, because it happens so often. I'm constantly just leveling my leaders up. Why can't we have something like that for pops? And you know what? They just came out with an update where you can change all the event notifications and stuff and customize them. That was a great change, by the way. Paradox, kudos to you and pat on the back for doing that. I want to say that right now. I'm not going to be able to say it in my video, but I'll say it here. Good job, Paradox. That was a good change. I bet you all agree with me. Being able to manage my events, pop-ups, is great. Now give us one for pops. Please, for the love of God. Okay. Sorry, I know I'm ranting, I'm yelling. You know, that's just part of the deal, okay? I will be much more... Look, if you don't want to hear me yell, watch my video. I'm about to release a video. It's going to be professional. I'm not going to be yelling. I'm not going to be swearing. It's going to be 20 minutes. It's not going to be 3 hours, okay? This is just a off-the-cuff... this is a live stream. You know me. I'm more lax on my live stream. I'm not that as professional on my live stream. So, apologize if that offends you. Not much I can do about it. This is who I am. I do my best to change, but and I am working on it. Maybe the day will come where I can be a great orator. I'm not using ums and buts. I'm not swearing. I am like an effing GJ, a DJ, or I'm like Joe Rogan or whatever, and I can just go and entertain constantly. And I don't do anything dumb. Or don't say anything dumb. I'd love to see that day, but I'm just not there. I'm a small-time YouTuber right now. So, you know what? I'm doing my best. Anyway, so I think that would be the easiest, most straightforward fix. No overhaul or throwing out required. See, complex. So here's the thing, Paradox. Complex is not always better. One of the reasons StarCraft 2 was such a great strategy game was because they absolutely nailed it on quality of life and UI elements. They also had complexity while keeping things simple at the same time. Does anybody disagree with that? You StarCraft players. I know a lot of you are out there. I know a lot of you are StarCraft players. I know you got to agree with me on that. I played co-op for years. I'm level 300 in co-op. I can't believe that I did that. I played the crap out of co-op. I do. StarCraft 2 will have a special place in my heart. Sadly, its time has come and gone. Won't be playing it again because of Blizzard. You know that story. But StarCraft 2 is an amazing game. And one of the things that made it so amazing was its simplicity. Simplicity, Paradox. I want you to think about that word. Simplicity. Simplicity. Keep it simple. I don't mean dumb. I don't mean crude. I don't mean, unevolved, or I don't mean easy. Okay. Complexity is okay, but some of the most complex things are the most simple. Yeah. You bring up a good point. I know. I am ranting. I know, guys. like I said, it's a live stream. Like I said, if you don't want to hear this, if you're tired of the yelling and stuff, like I said, I understand. I understand. This has been bottled up inside me for a long time, guys. So when I saw this post, I saw that Montu video, and I saw their post, you know, their library feed. I was like, dude, this is it. This is my time. This is my time to do this and do this. So I'm doing it. I mean, really, like, yeah. But no, good, fair point. I mean, I am ranting a lot, so maybe I should try to tone it down a little bit. But yeah, again, paradox, simplicity. I want you to get that. I recommend. I'm not trying to order you around and tell you what to do. These are suggestions, paradox. That nothing more. You can listen to me or you cannot. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't listen to me, it's not going to go away. People are going to continue to complain about this. You have people, I guarantee you have people in your forums, you have people in the comments for the post you just made that are talking about the same shit I'm talking about. Guaranteed. And if you continue to not address those things, well, I mean, that's on you. So I'm just here telling you, I'm the messenger. Yeah, I'm just being the messenger here. This is the stuff I see. This is the stuff that other people see. This is the stuff other people have said. This is the stuff I've said. You want to know how we feel, Paradox? This is how we feel. This is at least how I feel. And I have a lot of experience with Stellaris. I'm not the best Stellaris player, but I'm not the worst. And I do know a lot about the game. Obviously, you've seen all my videos. And here's the other thing, too. And I got to tell myself that, and thank you for those that give me the positive comments. Now, I don't believe in an echo chamber either, but when I see enough comments saying, dude, your video was on point, I love it, it really helped me, you know, it's hard for me to believe that my videos suck. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to tell myself, oh, well, nah, that video wasn't accurate. Well, if it wasn't, why did this person agree with it? It's hard. It's hard to, you know, have negative thinking when you got that going on. So it's hard for me to say that I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Or to have a low self-esteem to an extent, right? But anyway, I wasn't going anywhere with that, so let's get refocus here. So I think simplicity is the key word I'm recommending focusing on going forward. How can we make our systems and features less convoluted and simpler without making it dull or boring? However, I seldom have seen it where something was too simple that it was dull. That usually indicates another problem. Anybody disagree with me on that? Leave a comment. I mean, yeah. Honestly. How, and really, and now, part of me, of course, me personally, you know, your faithful Stellaris YouTuber, quote unquote, loves how convoluted this game is, right? I love how complicated this game is. You guys know why? Because I have 100 fucking Stellaris videos, right? I have 100, I probably more than that. I have a lot of Stellaris videos explaining to you how to do all this shit. Because there's so much. There's so much, and there's so much I still haven't covered. I could make another 100 Stellaris videos, and I wouldn't have covered it all. I don't even have all the expansions. You know? I don't even have all the expansions, guys. I'll come clean. I don't have any of the story packs. Like, I could... There is so much complexity here. The implications for content just... You could make content for the next 10 years and you'd still have shit to talk about. That's why Montu makes a living off of it, right? That's why he's does what he does because of the complexity. And so that being said, like, yeah, complexity can be good, but you know what? Like I said, making it simple doesn't make it less complex necessarily. You know, like I just said, some of the simplest things are the most complex things. So, now, and like I said, if they're dull, that's because of something else. It's not really because it's simple, okay? It's because of something else. But anyway, I'll move on. I think I've made my point. Yeah, really, Paradox, we could end the video there. Honestly, yeah, we could end the video here. Just those things. If you just work, Paradox, on you could stop watching right now and work on this. Take notes, work on this, do all this stuff. I'm telling you, it'll fix all your problems. Paradox, really. I'm looking at this from your perspective. I'm trying to look at this from your perspective, Paradox. This would help you on every metric. It would make your CFOs happy. It would make the developers happy. It would make us happy. If you did all the stuff that I mentioned, just this, and I have a whole lot more. We're not done, guys. I have a whole lot more here of suggestions and valuable insights that you could work with, Paradox. Suggestions, feedback. Yeah, I've got so much more gold here that we're going to cover. That's why this is going to be a long one, guys. So, if you need to, go grab a drink or a snack or, take a break and then watch this after the fact. It's cool. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. But, yeah, but we're going to get through this. So, you really want to know how to fix your reputation in Stellaris, make money, and bring in new players while training loyal ones, or while retaining loyal ones. Do these things. I'm imploring you, Paradox. You won't be disappointed. However, there are more questions here, so I will get to those too. So most of the sample questions you posted, these solutions will answer. But I did see a question about trade. First off, I think trade should be absolutely last priority compared to the aforementioned issues. So I highly recommend improving that first before you look at trade, which is really not that bad compared to other issues. And I know that's going to piss some people off because trade's an issue for some people. And those people, I get it, dude. I understand, but I'm not going to apologize because I think the issues I said I'm not saying trade isn't important. It is. I'm not saying your issue isn't valid. Yeah, that's something that can improve, but we gotta prioritize here, right? The developers only have so much time. They need to do the most impactful things first, and I think really that stuff is way more important than any problems with trade. I go through most of my games ignoring trade, to be honest. And I know that's a hot button for people. Sure, yeah, that's an issue. Let's make it better, but let's fix warfare first, please. It's like, okay, so I have an itch that I can't scratch, right? But there's no air in my room. There's no oxygen. I can't breathe. What should I pay attention to first? Air. Not the itch. No, that can wait. I'm going to get to the itch, but I need to get oxygen first, right? So yeah, we're talking oxygen versus an itch, okay? If that makes any sense. So I will say, however, you could make trade more impactful. If anything, give you a lot more control over piracy than you do. Wasting fleets to patrol is ridiculous, and I have never done it, nor did I need to. Most games I can completely ignore trade and be fine. As of right now, trade is more of a niche thing that you focus on if you are playing the right empire. Speaking of right empire, I think, and here's where I get positive, guys. I know I've sounded extremely negative so far, but really that's not what this is. I'm telling you that this is just feedback, okay? This is constructive feedback with some humor and comedy thrown in, okay? I think the number one most positive thing I like about Stellaris is the variety of different empire builds you can play. It has really kept me playing over the years. So I guess with trade, maybe consider making more build possibilities surrounding trade than adjusting current mechanics. As of right now, only options for trade builds are nothing and 2 Megacorp playstyles. And they're pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I like Criminal Heritage. I like regular Megacorp, but that's it. That's all I got. If you really want to dive into trade, that's what you got to work with. They could expand that for sure. But yeah, so you know, yeah. Anyway, so I would not be opposed to adding more trade-based content. Also, do not, for the love of God, make colonization harder. After what I said about habitability, I think I made clear why. Colonization is not too easy. If anything, it is too infrequent, difficult, and random. I can't even believe they asked that question. After all the stuff I've said here, like, I read that, I was like, whoa, dude, no, don't do that. No. There are so many other things you need to pay attention to. But no, colonization doesn't matter. Colonization should be easy. I want that planet as quickly as possible. I want to start expanding as quickly as possible. I don't want to sit here. I don't want to sit here looking at events. I want to conquer. I want to expand. I want to explore. I want to exterminate. I want to exploit. So let me do it. You know? Yeah. Anyway, I know I am going off here today. Anyway, so put it this way, any game I spawn in and I'm only using 3 planets by year 60 is a fail in my book. And honestly, I'm going to start making that a rule. In my playthroughs, you're going to start seeing it, guys. If it's year 60, I'm going to watch the clock. If it's year 60 and I only have 3 planets, I will restart the game. Plain and simple, I will restart the game. I am not interested in playing it any further. Because if I wasn't getting screwed, I would have more than 3 planets. Right, guys? Does anybody disagree with me on that? I think year 60 is reasonable. If it's year 60 and I still have 3 planets, that's a failed map. Plain and simple. Unless I'm doing something special, you know, like Virtual Ascension or whatever. The player needs to be able to find planets they can use fast, especially if they want to optimize their economy later. And you know, it's like StarCraft. Like, if you lose a worker in the beginning of StarCraft, like one too many, other than your initial scout, that sets you back for the rest of the game. You will be behind for the rest of the game. So if you get screwed on planets, most of the time you are going to be screwed for the rest of the game. Unless you do something to change your situation quickly. You know? But if you, like, say, if you spend till, if you have 3 planets till 2300, you don't have any origins to support it, like Virtual Ascension or anything, you're not doing anything special, you're just playing a standard empire, and you only have 3 planets by year 300, and another empire, I've seen this over and over again, but another empire right next to you has like 15, you are going to be so far behind that other empire no matter what you do. You're not going to be able to do anything. You know, there's nothing you can do to get ahead of that empire. Nothing. You know, that's been my experience, okay? Some might disagree with me, but that's what I've observed. So, let's see. So, interesting question about the Civic and Origins. That's a tough question. Honestly, though, I think they are fine. I think the issue is not enough relevant or playstyle changing Civics and Origins. So, just make more. More. That they are Civic or Origin does not matter as much. I do not even notice most of the time. So, like, yeah, Paradox. It's not that important whether an Origin is an Origin or a Civic. No. What's important is you coming out with more. That's it. Just come out with more. just pump them out. Really, seriously. Just pump out the good ones. Not useless ones. Like, what is it? Let me name one of the youth. There's a lot of useless Civics. I might do a video about it. Filler. I'm going to call them filler Civics. Civics that don't change your playstyle at all. Or do anything, really. Is it Decadent? No. I think that's standard living. But like, what was it? The Pleasure Seekers? Maybe? So, some like, the one with the Ranger buildings. Like, I've never even used that one. Like, it doesn't, like, the Civics that they don't really change anything. You know, they don't change your playstyle. They don't change your power in any way. It's almost like they're just filler. Like I said, content bloat. a lot of the, actually, that is the problem with Civics and Origins. Quite a bit of them look like content bloat. You know, I think just raise the quality and the frequency of the Civics and Origins you do come out with. So, if I was able to wave a magic wand and make a feature disappear, it would either be war exhaustion, of course, or the galactic community. Oh boy. Oh, you guys are going to hate me. Though I think war exhaustion would live with the current changes I proposed. I'm going to get hate for this, but the galactic community either needs to be removed or stop punishing players who join it. It's silly that I can leave the community and get half my economy back that I did not even know was missing. Make the resolution straight up bonuses or remove the feature entirely. Yeah, you should not get punished for joining the galactic community. I know everybody can agree with me on that. So, like, as of right now, like, I've stopped joining it. Because you guys have seen my gameplay. Every time I do, I get choked more and more, and I'm like, why am I having all these problems? A thought pops in my head, hey, maybe it's the galactic community. I look at all the resolutions, I'm like, holy shit, I don't want any of these bonuses. I don't want any of these penalties. Fuck that, and I leave. It's worth the opinion loss. And then, what happens when I leave, guys? You've seen it over and over again. I'll leave the galactic community. My economy will magically fix itself. Night and day. Like, my economy will double. My naval capacity will double. Dude, where's the incentive? I mean, yeah, even if you're doing that specifically, I can't understand why that would be appealing unless you're just a glutton for punishment or you're doing something memey or exploitive. I mean, but if you're just playing normal Stellaris, there is absolutely no reason to join the galactic community whatsoever. If you want to get ahead. Unless you love penalties. Honestly, you know what? This isn't the galactic community. It's the penalty box. I'm going to roast this, dude. I'm sorry, dude. This has been building up inside of me for a long time. You guys know this. Like, this isn't the galactic community. This is the penalty box, okay? When you go in it, you get penalties, right? You don't get bonuses. You get penalties. It's the penalty box. So, anyway. But yeah, so there you go, guys. That's how I feel about the galactic community. Cat's out of the bag. I think the galactic community is one of the most, like... And the sad thing is, it shouldn't be, right? The galactic community should be useful. It is, right now, it is one of the most useless features to me. I know some people, they love it. Sure. Okay. Different strokes for different folks, but I'm sure you're probably in the minority. I can't imagine that I'm the only person that's had this experience. That has left the galactic community and gotten half my economy back that I didn't even know I had. Just like I just said. So, that seems to be all the questions. I have one last recommendation I would like to make. As far as the next DLC you make, I highly recommend making a DLC focused around genetic ascension, hive mind, and all things biological. Just as the machine age focused on the cybernetic, synthetic, and machine empires. Hive mind is extremely popular with your player base too, and genetic ascension has been neglected for way too long. Every other ascension path has been explored except that one. I think the potential for this idea is huge. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, the fix for the galactic community is simple. Bonuses only. Just make it bonuses only. And do way more stuff with it, like, other than just bonuses. Like, I would love to, like, mess around, pull strings, cause drama and shit, like, if I could actually do it. But you have to wait years between actions. That's boring. I don't want to wait that long. I want to be in it. I want to be in it messing around. Like, give us stuff to mess with. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing. It's like I joined the galactic community, I'll look at all my options. I'm like, none of this stuff looks interesting. You know, it'd be one thing if like if there was like intrigue and stuff and like spectacle, like you go in the galactic community, it's like backstab this person. Okay, you know, like Crusader Kings or something, right? If they had some kind of like Crusader King system with the galactic community, where except instead of the different leaders and characters in Crusader Kings, it was the empires instead. It was kind of like a mini game of that. That would be cool as hell. I would join the galactic community then. You guys have seen, guys know I played Crusader Kings 3. I have a couple videos of it. Or I have one. And it didn't work, so I stopped covering Crusader Kings 3, but maybe I should try again. But yeah, Crusader Kings 3 is fun. And if they made the galactic community like that, I tell you. I didn't say this in my video, I'm not gonna, but I can say here. Yeah, like, dude, make the galactic community more fun and more rewarding. Okay, so there we go. Let's see here. But yeah, back to genetic ascension. So I think the potential for, like, that should be their next big banger. Like, that should be their next Machine Age level event. Should be focusing on hive mind and genetic ascension. Just biological shit. Like they did with machine stuff and cybernetic stuff. Now they're focusing on the biological stuff. You know, hive mind, you know, genetic ascension, biological empires, you know, standard empires, making them more powerful, which genetic ascension would itself, giving that more options, would do that, you know. And then oranges and civics to support all that stuff. Yeah, just no different than Machine Age, except you're getting you're getting hive mind and biological stuff. Who wouldn't go for that? I would love that. And I've heard people say that they would love that. So, you know, so the next DLC that you could make after that could be a DLC centered around warfare and playstyles that thrive off of being at war constantly. You could even rip off of the Cleons. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, I had to burp there. Also, could make a Hunter Empire similar to Predator and Alien vs. Predator, also known as the Yucha. I think that's how it's pronounced. Or the Hirojim from Star Trek Voyager, if any of you know what I'm talking about. Basically, Hunter Empires, you know, they believe in the thrill of the hunt, right? That's what their empire is surrounded around. Now, you know this is how, you know this from Predator. Those of you who've seen Predator. That's the quintessential example of an empire where their entire culture and government is based around hunting other species. You know, why don't we have something like that? You could redo warfare, get paid, make great content, and fill niches that have yet to be filled. So that's something else you could do. And then you could basically rip off the Cleons. I mean, Stellaris has been doing that from day one. I mean, Devouring Swarm, come on. Tyranid. Everybody knows that, dude. Everybody knows that where that inspiration came from. Like, Zerg, Tyranids. Like, it's not an original idea. The Devouring Swarm idea is not an original idea. You know, under one rule, we all know. I mean, it was all over the YouTube. You guys saw it when it came out. Under one rule, that origin. God Emperor of Mankind. Everybody knows. Stellaris, you know, the devs don't even try to hide it. They know full well where the inspiration comes from too. Dude, make something about the Cleons. Or Cleon-like empires. Where, like, they thrive off of war. War is their life. Like, the orcs from Warhammer 40k. You know? Make stuff, civics, and origins that support that. Right? Because the orcs is an example of just, you know, war is life, right? Just a war is life DLC, you know? That just totally revolutionizes warfare. Obviously, do it right, make it good, but, like, yeah. So that's it. Okay, so hold on. Actually, no. No, not doing that yet. That's not it. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Okay. So there are actually some issues that I feel deserve a mention. One of the changes that really disrupted me recently was the sudden overbalancing done to federations and vassalization. I agree that vassalization was too OP and needed a small adjustment. However, I still feel that the adjustment was a little more than I would have liked. the Federation, now I know I'm in the minority. I know a lot of people hate vassalization stuff, but I like it. So, but I do know I'm in the minority. There's a large part of the community does not like being able to vassalize people diplomatically at all. But I enjoy it. So I guess I'm in the minority on that one. But I think still there's enough of you that like it too. You know, I think they went a little bit too far with the vassalization adjustments. So the Federation changes, however, completely baffled me. Since the change, Federation spawns have ended a majority of my games. I would be doing well just to run into a Federation fleet that had been building up since the game start that was literally 4 to 5 times the size of my largest fleet, even though I outnumbered the rest of their fleet a great deal on a difficulty that was not even that hard. So this was on Captain, guys. I saw 100. I had to fight a 100k fleet at year 80 or 60, like before year 300, on Captain. Captain. Nowhere near the highest difficulty. A Federation fleet was that big. How was that balanced? So yeah, it's like, so yeah, this is unacceptable and very imbalanced. First, I have no idea how that sounded like a good idea to allow to be possible. Okay, how that was a good idea to allow that to be possible in the first place. Sudden changes like this are jarring and discourage players. Are jarring and discourage players. I just can't figure out how allowing the computer AI to have a 100k fleet power by year 300 did not sound imbalanced. To be fair, I have not seen this exact issue in a while, so you may have fixed it. If so, good job. However, there are still way too many Federation starts, I feel, in the average game. Another issue is that, unlike Advanced and Fallen Empires, I cannot turn off Federation starts. This needs to be an option. You know, and maybe some of you disagree with that. I mean, yeah, do you like the new Federation changes? Have you had a different experience? Sure, leave a comment. I don't mind. I'll read it. I'll respond. And if it's constructive, fair enough. I know some will disagree with me on that. Some think it's the best thing since sliced bread. And I would like it more if it weren't for some other things I'm going to talk about here. So when it comes to diplomacy, I mentioned that it was fine, but then I thought about trust. I feel this is an underdeveloped mechanic. I think we should do, or should be able to do, way more with this feature, and it should have more power than we do. Also, there are way too many times where I cannot join a federation because of low acceptance, even though I have max trust and very good relations with each member. Yeah, I would like to join some of these federations. You guys have seen it. I've tried to join these federations that they keep spawning, but I can't because of these mechanics. I can't even take advantage of your guys' buff, you know? So it's a total L for me. It's a total waste of my map. Like, it creates a huge power block. I can't get into it. I can't conquer it. You know? I can't get ahead of it. What do I do? So yeah, I mean, I guess I get association status. Ooh. But no, dude, I want those points. So yeah. This is not acceptable either and needs adjustment. This discourages me even more from enjoying the changes you made recently to federations because I cannot even join them easily or at all. Trust could fix this. Trust could give you acceptance bonuses or even guarantee acceptance if it is maxed, which it should do. This is only logical. One of the silly factors making the previously mentioned issues even more difficult is distance penalties. Those should get removed. Each empire has intergalactic technology, so distance should not mean anything when it comes to relationships and communication. Now, in real life, long-distance relationships don't work, right? Or that's the common knowledge, right? But, one, sometimes they do. And I'll tell you guys a secret, something about me that you don't know. I have had long-distance relationships, And I have met the person. So they did work out for a time. And that's all I'm going to say there, because we don't talk about that stuff on this channel necessarily. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say it. I pulled the chick off of World of Warcraft. There, I said it. I pulled the chick off of World of Warcraft. It can be done. But the thing of it is, dude, I mean, this is a galactic empire. Distance doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't. When you could skip to the other side of the empire in 2 years, no. And you have instant communication, no. That shouldn't be a thing. You could easily form relationships. Not to mention all the technology, all the Clark tech that they're going to have that would completely remove distance doing anything negative. Other than the fact that it takes them a couple more years to travel there. But as far as communication, relationship building, none of those would be impeded by distance in an intergalactic empire with the kind of technology that an intergalactic empire would have. So it's not even realistic if you think about it. So, yeah. Another issue before I forget is performance. So this is kind of an interjection here. Performance, guys, right? That's another huge one, right? We all know that if we get a large map, we get a very large map, that we will not be able to play it. Right? Raise your hand. I'll raise my hand. This laptop sucks. I can't wait to replace it. Raise your hand if you cannot play a large map right now, because when you do, that the game will become unplayable after year 300. Or less. I'm raising my hand right now. So yeah, and leave a comment if that's you. and leave, again, all this stuff that I talked about. Exactly. You with your 2-core laptop. Yeah, dude. Dude, come on, Paradox. We want to play a big map. We just can't. I think addressing that is more important than than trade. You know what I mean? So yeah, performance, man. We don't like this. We don't like this. I want to have big maps. I love big maps, but dude, when it gets to year 2400 or 2300 for me, I'm on a big map. Even on my biggest computer, it slows to a crawl. The days count by so slow. Everything works so slow. Obviously, this is something that you got to work on. You can't neglect this. You can't neglect stuff like that. Paradox. Okay? So I understand Stellaris is very big in scope and demands a lot of hardware resources, but I do believe some optimizations to larger maps are in order if it is possible. You could always install settings that make the computer run better on potatoes. Even call it a potato meter, just to be funny. The lower the slider, the better the performance, but the crappier the game looks. So yeah, you have a slider, you move it, you hit apply, and then your stuff looks like crap, but the days go by faster again. Wow! Right? I mean, dude, I remember when I was playing first-person shooters, right? I would put the graphics settings, remember, raise your hand if this is you, back in the day. Turning your graphics settings almost off and making the game look like absolute ass just so you could get that kill-death ratio. I've done it. How many of us have done it? I don't think graphics are as important as gameplay. They never were. Minecraft proved that. Minecraft was the first game to prove that graphics do not make the game at all. Okay? So, yeah. Let us play the game. That's simple. DRG and Fuga has this thing called resolution scale. It helped me out a lot. Though the issue with Stellaris is the pop count. Yeah. And that's true. The issue is the pop count. But I guarantee you it would at least make things a little better, I think. And also another solution to this is what Montu said. And so when it comes to this, I would have to agree with Montu that maybe getting rid of pops, the pop system, is the best idea. Maybe just get rid of it, and come up with something else instead. I think that's what he said. He said something about just removing pops. Well, he may have just said remove jobs, but honestly, why do we have pops? If you think about it, like, if we didn't have pops, would the game function better? I think it would. And we had something else in its place, something simpler, right? Something simple. Again, there's that word. Yeah, that might help this. So many times I could have explored new possible alliances and strategies and plot twists in my Empire's progression if distance was not a thing. But we're back at distance now. It also is applied way too readily, so at the very least make it much less likely to be applied or reduce the penalty drastically. So the penalty right now is 100. And that'll pop up even if they're just one empire away. Even if there's just one empire between me and that one, I will get a massive distance penalty. Come on, dude. Come on. Make diplomacy fun. All right? So, let us do what we want to do. But yeah, that makes, yeah. So, speaking of penalties that make the game not fun, the is Overlord penalty is very unnecessary and excessive. The reason, and hear me out, guys, before you hate, hear me out. The reason this is a literal buzzkill is because once they are an Overlord, they are unable to be vassalized ever without force. This makes no sense when you are way stronger than their entire block and they just have one single planet vassal anyway. Changing or removing this penalty completely would prevent players from feeling stuck between power blocks, which nobody wants. The other reason Federation spam is not a good thing. So, does anybody disagree with that? Now, I know you're like, dude, I don't like vassalization. Okay, you guys that don't like vassalization, I get it, okay? I get it, and you don't want anything to make that worse. But I'm telling you, it won't make it worse. If anything, it'll make it better. It sounds counterintuitive, like, well, no, that would encourage people to diplomatically vassalize. Well, yeah, it would. But see, here's the thing. You still have to be more powerful, way more powerful than that empire. And you're going to have to be even more powerful because they're an overlord. So it would balance out. And you'd have to have a lot of trust. The trust will prevent that abuse from happening to begin with. You don't need that overlord penalty. It just gets in the way. I think everybody can agree that I would rather diplomatically vassalize somebody than have to go into a big long war, get into war with all of their defensive packs just to get them out of my way so I'm not boxed in. And I can get that score. So, yeah, I mean, and I'm not stuck, I'm not locked between power blocks. See, I think so yeah, would you rather be locked between power blocks or would you rather vassalize easily? I mean, that's kind of the thing. So, and that's the other reason having so many federations is bad is because it's so much easier to just get locked between power blocks, which is what people were complaining about in the first place, I believe, if I read the reviews correctly. I've read a lot of reviews. Hell, maybe I should read reviews at the end of this video for you Paradox people. Show you what the people are saying about your games. But anyway, I digress. So furthermore, Bulwark badly needs a rework. Actually, Bulwark doesn't need a rework. It just needs the taxes removed or drastically reduced. 30% default is ridiculous. This alone makes it not a viable pick. Dude, nobody wants to spend half a third of their economy just to have a vassal with star bases on it. No, dude. Especially, don't even get me started on star bases. I will get to that in a second. Yeah, that's definitely being said. You guys know what's coming. You've seen my defense video. I've seen the comments on it. Sadly, I've had to tell those people, dude, you're right. Even though this video is relevant, I don't advise it. That's my advice on my defense video right now. And it ticks me off because I put work into that video. And it's still correct. But it's useless. Yeah. First admit. Right now, You know, my defense video is useless. You might as well not even might as well not even bother watching it, because defense is useless in this game right now. It is invisible. It doesn't exist. Another big problem. Yeah, I had a vassal which, after 1 month, changed to bulwark by... Oh, they changed the bulwark by themselves after you vassalize them? That sucks. I haven't had that happen to me, but what has happened, and maybe this is what actually happened to you, you got to be very careful when a empire proposes that you vassalize them. Okay? I almost always decline and start an agreement with them instead. Because usually they propose a bulwark situation by default. So if you click accept, yay, I get a vassal, and you get excited and you click accept, and you miss the part where it says, oh, he proposes bulwark. Now you just lost 30% of your mineral or of your resources. So yeah, that's a thing. Stop it, Paradox. Slap. Stop it. Slap your hands. Stop. Arnold, stop it. You know, that kind of thing. Maybe I should... I wonder if I can play that sound. I wonder if you guys will hear it. Is there Discord camp here? Maybe I can... Alright, let me get in the member club. Maybe see if you hear you guys say it.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Yeah. Right? Right? You know, like... So... yeah, this video, if I could sum it up, is basically that. True. You know? Arnold going, stop it! But like, I mean, yeah, this is a video full of things that that Paradox needs to stop, that the devs need to stop, you know, or do, you know. Like I said, this is feedback, constructive feedback. Yeah, there's a little roasting here, but you know what? It's tough love. It's a little tough love. I know. And I know it's not meant to be 100% negative. I mean, I've put some positive things in here, but it is criticism. I mean, there is a lot of work to be done that hasn't been done. So, but anyway, so yeah, this alone, so yeah, the 30% taxes for bulwark makes it invisible. When I say invisible, just useless, nobody picks it, nobody wants it, you know, that kind of thing. Instead, maybe make the target empire have less research. So, like, and honestly, I think this is where they really should take the vassalization types. I don't think they should take anything from your empire at all. I don't think there should be any negatives. I think the only negatives should be to them. And it would just be strengths and weaknesses for them. They should be the only one getting consequences. So, for a Stellaris, for example, actually, this is why I picked Stellaris so much, is because the Stellaris is like that. They're only hurting themselves. They don't hurt you by having that set up. They hurt themselves. But they get a lot more research. Yeah, dude, Bulwark's ridiculous. Bulwark needs tweaking. It absolutely needs tweaking. But more so, honestly, I would consider doing that arrangement if defenses were powerful. But they're not. You know? So, anyway, what really needs a rework and is in a very sad state right now, let's play taps, guys. Let's play taps for defense in Stellaris. Let's play the bugle for defense in Stellaris. We've been playing the bugle for that for a long time. There is no point in making defense platforms. I said it there. I said it. There's no point. There's no point in making defense platforms. There's no point in making in beefing up your star bases. You know, making gut platforms or whatever, or carrier or hangar platforms. There's no reason to invest any alloys into your star bases other than the basic shit. There's no point at all. I have footage of using my resources, spending like half my alloys over the course of the game, pumping them into making these huge star bases, and I have footage on my channel right now that you could look at of ships a third of the fleet power rolling in and just insta-killing my star bases. All that fleet power, all those alloys, gone. And they didn't lose a goddamn thing. And you know what the worst part is? Some of these situations, they didn't even have battleships. They didn't even have battleships. Yeah, defense is dead, guys. It's been dead for a long time. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Paradox. Bring back defense. And you know what I would say if I was going to be political? You know what statement I would say, but I'm not gonna, because I'm not going to be political on the channel. But there's a perfect statement that I could say, okay, about defense that sums everything up. Yeah. So that's something you could work on, Paradox. Make defense relevant. You know? Raise it from the dead. It is dead right now. There is no benefit to going unyielding. There is no benefit. Like, I had everything. I had unyielding. I had a whole thing. I had the old Aegis shield shit going on. There is no point in going that route right now. And it's sad because there's so many cool build ideas and strategies and playstyles that you could build from around that setup if it worked. And also, it would definitely bring more flavor to warfare and more complexity to the game itself. It would breathe fresh air into it. There'd be more. I mean, yeah, there'd be more things to worry about and more annoyances, but like, this is a good question. Do you think they actually test their changes to mechanics before release, or just go with what looks good on paper? Dude, good question. I think it's the latter. And I think this is a fundamental problem with development today. I'm not a developer, okay? But you know what? I don't have to be Mike Tyson to know that Mike Tyson is good. Good at boxing, okay? I don't have to be a boxer to know what's good in boxing or to know the best way to box. All I got to do is watch the matches. So that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing here. I've watched the matches. I've talked to I've talked to people in the know. I'm in the know. I've never boxed, but yeah, so I think that was a decent analogy. But yeah, dude, no. I don't think they do. It's very clear that they don't. Because you can't tell me that if they were testing some of the stuff that they did, that they wouldn't see how stupid it was. Yeah, dude, honestly, I think the fun pimps suffer from this the most, to be honest. Honestly, there's been so many times where I'm like, dude, there's no way they played this. There's no way that they tested this out. At least long term. It looks like the most they did was just hop in, make sure that it's not completely broken, and then leave. That's lazy. Come on. We're the ones that have to play that stuff. So, yeah, no. So my answer is officially, yeah, I don't think a lot of them, the good ones do, but I don't think the majority of developers today actually test their changes. Like, honestly, if I was Blizzard back when Overwatch was in its prime, okay? So those of you who played Overwatch know what I'm talking about. It was the dive meta, right? Now, I didn't like the dive meta either. A lot of us didn't like the dive meta, but you know what? It was way better than the meta that came next. We all know what came next after that. I mean, for those Overwatch players. I mean, damn. I think there is no way that if Jeff Kaplan and the other developers that were making those changes actually, now maybe Jeff Kaplan did, But like I'm telling you, if they had actually spent enough time and played those changes and really played them for like months, if they had played with Bridget for months, there is no way they wouldn't have seen the problems that were about to happen to them. No way. Like, there's no way they wouldn't have seen that drop in their player base. Just because people are smart. They are when they want to be. People are smart. They will find loopholes. They will find things. And developers can do that too. So, yeah, man, like, no, I absolutely 100% make the statement that I don't think they are. I don't think they are testing these changes that they make. Especially the nerfs. So when Genji got nerfed in Overwatch, when he got nerfed into Oblivion, you can't tell me that if the developers were forced to just play Genji for like just 2 weeks straight with that setup, that they wouldn't have been like, oh, fuck this, dude, we're rolling these nerfs back. Dude, they would have. They would have rolled those nerfs right out the window. But, I mean, like I said, this is all opinion here. Okay, let's get back on track. We have been here for a while. And we're going to be here for a while longer. This is a special stream, guys. This is going to take longer than usual. And again, I've said it again. If you came here for gameplay, just go ahead and off-click. We're not doing it today. All right, so we're helping Paradox, guys. We're helping Paradox. We're on a mission. We're on a mission from God to help Paradox. So, yeah, let's see. Right now, once the game has reached year 300, any fleet can roll up to a starbase 4 times its fleet power and obliterate it without losing any ships, especially once battleships come out. This is sad because so many times I wanted to play a bulwark like Empire, but scrapped the idea because of the sad state of platforms and starbase power. Even with unyielding, it makes no sense. There's an entire tradition right now, Paradox, that is useless and not worth picking. That might as well not be there. Stellaris is not a complete game. You just removed one of your features. How did they not see this? When you nerf something into Oblivion, you remove the feature. And when you remove a feature that somebody paid for, that ticks them off. So back when I lived in Las Vegas, I had an apartment. And when I first started renting that apartment, I had a storage unit. Like I had a storage closet out in the patio. Most of us have one, right? That have been in apartments. You know what I'm talking about. You open it up, it's just storage. You just store your shit in there. It's ugly. The walls aren't pretty. They're usually like made of cement or whatever, or drywall. They're not painted. There's usually like a water heater in there or something. You know what I'm talking about. But storage, place to put my stuff. So I put my stuff in there. I had it there for years. And then one day, the property manager leaves a note on our door saying that we are no longer nobody's allowed to put things in their storage room anymore. Can you imagine how I felt? How do you think I felt? I felt like I got robbed. I felt like I got robbed because my rent didn't go down. No. My rent didn't go down. No, I had to pay the same amount of rent that I paid. This is the US, by the way. I'm not going to get into that. But now you can read between the lines there. One of the many reasons. It's nice being here in the Philippines. Sorry, I had to do it. Sorry. Yeah, I just had to take a quick sniff there. But just memories like that make me want to do that. But yeah, dude, they took my storage unit away. How do you think I felt? That's what happens when you take a feature away, Paradox. You cut off a piece of your game that somebody paid for, So anyway, this leads me to the next issue that I feel would breathe fresh air into the game and allow for a lot more playstyles if either removed or balanced. Okay. I make you hate for this. Frigates and torpedoes. Oh my God. Because of these things, I cannot do defense or anything monohull carriers. I'm sorry, or anything but monohull carriers when playing against the computer AI. You guys have seen it. I have footage. All the proof is there. You guys, you know, guys who've been with me, you know this. This is true. This is 100% fact. What's going on right now with the meta? Okay? If you are a PvE player, and that is your choices, because at some point, the computer AI will spam frigates and photon launchers. They do it every game. And if you do not have carriers, if you don't have strike craft, they will rip your shit apart. Every single time. They will rip your shit apart. It's happened over and over again. Okay? So, they will straight up hard counter you. Every time. You'll have like a fleet of power of like 100, right? They'll have a fleet power of 30. And your fleet will just fucking plummet. You'll watch with a gaping mouth of horror as your fleet, the number just tanks. And you're like, oh my God, no. That's happened to me countless times until I found carriers. With countless different build types, with countless weapons, no other weapon works. Right now, the way it is, no other weapon works against the computer's frigate spam. Nothing. Okay? I guess you could do what they're doing, and yeah, that could work, I guess. Yeah, again, it feels like the devs don't even play their game. Like, because really, I don't, if they played their game, I don't want to criticize Paradox too hard here, guys. I don't want to be too mean here. But man, am I salty over this. I do. I have some salt here. I mean, you guys may have been around when I did that Rogue Servitor series way back in the day, or a couple of years ago, when I was trying a different format that didn't really work that well. But dude, when these changes first came out, dude, it was brutal for me. I got pulverized. I got a black eye, dude. And that's why I didn't come out with content for a while. Like guides and stuff. Because I had to figure this out and I couldn't. But then I finally found carriers. And it was like, okay, all right, I can play Stellaris again. But for a while there, I almost quit Stellaris over this, guys. I almost quit Stellaris. I was like, this is stupid. This is stupid. I can't make defenses. I can't make battleships. I can't spin my alloys. I don't want to make frigates. Frigates are stupid. I'm sorry, guys. Not offense to you guys that like frigates, but no. I don't want to play with frigates. I want to play with battleships. I want to play with Titans or whatever. I want to play with the big stuff. I like spectacle. I don't want to play with those little dingy ships. And you know what? You mean the ships you got at the beginning of the game? You know, if I spend my time and my resources and my hard work getting a good tech that gives me better ships, I deserve to win. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. The first problem with torpedoes is that while it makes sense for them to destroy battleships, they seem to be just as effective against smaller ships like destroyers. That's inexcusable. Frigates should be a support ship, but the computer spams them like corvettes. Each one can take out a battleship and a large starbase. How does that make sense? So you just need one. You just need one frigate. One torpedo will body a battleship, will body a huge starbase. I mean, not even talking about the regular torpedo, the photon launchers too. Even if they have shields. Now, if you go heavy on shields, you have a better chance, but not much. And the photon launcher, I'll tell you guys right now, that's why I do half and half. That right there. Because if I don't have shields, that photon launcher will obliterate me. And it usually does anyway. So, yeah. And plasma's still a thing, so don't forget about that. Anyway, sorry. Got a little heated there, but yeah, I'm pretty salty about that topic. So, I personally feel we went way too overboard with torpedoes. I understand mono-hulling battleships is boring every game. And yeah, I get it. Paradox, look, I get it. Guys, look, I get it. Those of you that did not like the old meta, all right? I get it. The old meta was boring, okay? Tons of battleships with X-slot weapons, you know, artillery battleships with X-slot weapons. That's all you do every single game. I understand it gets boring. I understand. Okay? I get it. I get it. Boring. Boring. Understand. However, okay? That's what we're doing now. Is that not what we're doing now? It's just carriers instead of artillery. At least for me. So I'm still mono-hulling battleships. X-slot battleships. You know? I'm just doing it with carriers. You know? But you know what? I earned those carriers. I earned those battleships. I paid a lot more alloys for those battleships. A little pissant frigate should not be able to take that out. They should be able to have to do the economy that I did, out economy me, and do that to take out my battleships. You know? They should not just be able to fucking sorry, pardon language. Do basically a Tonberry from Final Fantasy and go doink and blow up my battleship. No. That's not the way you do that. That's not the way you counter. Anyway, okay. I'm done with the tangent, so I'm going to continue reading. So, I understand mono-hulling battleships is boring every game. Yet at the same time, battleships should always be the meta because of their technological and economic cost. You should always win if you have more battleships. However, I do have some solutions. So I have some solutions, guys. You know me, I don't like to rant, I don't like to bitch without a solution. Okay? So first, you could put a cap on the amount of frigates an empire can have in their fleet. Or just remove them and instead replace them with new hull types that are at the same power level as battleships. You know, like a paper, rock, scissors situation. Wouldn't you guys like new types of battleships? Like carrier, obviously, could be a different hull type. It could be a battleship hull type variant, right? And you pick that instead of the classic battleship. You know, you have the classic one, or the artillery battleship, which is another hull type you could have. You know, so the artillery battleship, they have sections that have more L slot weapons, right? They have more L slots, and maybe they have an extra X slot. You know, very powerful, right? But they have but they could install other weaknesses in them. You know, we don't need this torpedo bullshit. We don't need the torpedo meta. Just make different types of battleships that paper, rock, scissors each other. You know, obviously, carriers would be weak against artillery battleships. They would get destroyed. So you don't want to just make carrier battleships, right? You want to make an equal mix of like regular battleships, artillery battleships, you know, regular battleships to like be line ships or whatever, you know, that like they specialize in taking out smaller ships, right? And then you have the artillery battleships. They specialize in taking out other battleships and star bases and shit like that. And then you've got carrier battleships that take out small battle, you know, that also take out small craft, but also have very long range. You know, you know they could work on this. They could figure this out, right? They could figure out the math. They could do the math. See, I can't do the math. I'm not a developer, right? These are just ideas. So, yeah. So you could officially make a carrier hull, one with better hangar sections than your standard battleship. You could make another hull that is better or has better artillery sections. You could even have this idea for other existing hull types as well, especially cruisers, man. What if they did this with cruisers? That would be amazing. I would love that. I mean, if they did this, that would add so much more variety to fleets. So many more build options. So many more combinations. You don't need torpedoes. You don't need a one-trick pony. You don't. Like, torpedoes are unnecessary. You know? Yeah. They could come out with all kinds of, they could make a DLC around it. Yeah, exactly, Cinetic, exactly. Yeah, logistics support ship slowly repairs your front lines. They make them recover faster, whatever. Yeah, there's all kinds of things they could do. There's all kinds of things you could do, Paradox. Anything you could do that would bring much balance. Another thing you could do that would bring much balance to the game in other ways, as well as now this is the simplest solution here, is let point defense destroy torpedoes. This would introduce more counterplay, is a simple change developmentally, and make point defense great again, or flak, whatever you choose. Oops, I said it. Dude, point defense and flak, especially flak, is useless. That's another invisible feature. You see the pattern here, guys? This is the problem, Paradox. There are way too many invisible features in this game. Features that people could just skip. And they should be able to skip it because they suck. They just suck. I said it. I'm saying what people are afraid to say. Yeah. Why on earth did you not... In fact, why on earth didn't you just do that in the first place? Why on earth did you make no counter to torpedoes? Did you not see that this was going to happen? That the computer was just going to spam frigates and photon launchers? How was that fun? I don't think that's fun. But I tell you what I do think is fun. Seeing that shit, putting point defense weapons on my carriers and tearing them apart. Very satisfying. That would be very satisfying. Or just putting them on my artillery battleships. The artillery battleships are a little weaker, yeah? But you know what? That's counterplay, right? When you counter something, you make yourself weaker against something else. Paper, rock, scissors, right? Nothing wrong with it. It's worked since the beginning of time. StarCraft 2, Protoss, Zerg, Terran. Protoss has strengths against Zerg, but is weak against Terran. I mean, dude, paper, rock, scissors, it's simple. You could do that with the hull types in this game. You don't need torpedoes. But if you're going to have torpedoes, you got to have some... They are scissors and they have no rock right now. Torpedoes are scissors and they have no rock right now. So why wouldn't everybody just use scissors? Or why wouldn't the computer just spam scissors? So yeah, scissors need a rock here, Paradox. Torpedoes need a counter. At the very least, you need a way to deal with that crap. I should not lose all of my battleships because I can do nothing about it. And I'm not going to not make battleships when they are the most powerful thing that I can get tech for, other than Titans and Juggernauts. And if I spend those kind of resources on those ships, I should win. So that's my close right there. So we're going to move on. But having no counter to torpedoes other than carriers just does not make sense to me. Okay, so I'm going to touch on another thing. Here we go, guys. Now, this is a topic I'm not familiar with, but I've heard countless YouTubers and a lot of you bitch about, and that is PvP. I have heard so many content creators that promote you complain a lot about the state of PvP. And whenever I think about joining that space, their complaints and comments from my viewers stop me. So there have been times like, you know what? It would be a fun video. It's just like, Volairen tries PvP for once. Wouldn't you want to watch that, guys? I'm sure you would. You'd be like, ooh, he's going to get his ass ripped open, right? Like, he's going to get his butt kicked. Let's watch him get his butt kicked. Yeah, I mean, dude, entertainment, right? Prime entertainment. It would even be fun. I wouldn't do it all the time, obviously, because I'm not a PvP guy, but yeah, it'd be a fun challenge, but I don't even want to do it because of all the fucking hate that it's been getting lately. I'm like, dude, I don't want to step into that space. It's not even worth it, right? Comment on me if you know what I'm talking about. So, or if you don't think I know what I'm talking about. So another thing. So yeah, hold on. I lost my place. So let me. Okay, next slide. Apparently, there are certain optimization issues or whatnot. I am not fully aware of the details because I am not PvP. I'm not a PvP focused player, but I do know this: having a bad PvP scene or frustrating PvP scene in any game that features it is a very bad thing. I think we can all agree on that, guys. How many games have we seen die because the PvP started sucking or it disappeared? How many times? Or it was just so imbalanced and so bad, or it had lots of cheaters or whatever. Just for whatever reason, the PvP was terrible. How many games have died because of that? I'm saying that, and I'm not even a big PvP guy. I used to be. I played my fair share of competitive shooters. I got really angry, too. You guys know how angry I can get. Man, imagine me playing a competitive shooter, dude. I used to rage so hard. But man, like, no, dude, it's unacceptable. You gotta focus. You gotta do something about that, Paradox. Having a bad PvP scene or frustrating PvP scene in any game that features it is a very bad thing. It really is, Paradox. You know, even if you don't like PvP, there are so many players that do. Yeah, I know I'm in the minority. I know I am. I know you guys love PvP. You guys love your Call of Duty. You guys love your Battlefield or whatever. Whatever competitive shooter you're doing. You guys love your Dota. You love your MOBAs. Dude, PvP is huge. And if you neglect it, when you can do it, it's not a good look. People will complain about it. People will be turned off by it. So, also, I have enjoyed watching PvP matches in the past on YouTube. Yeah, the multiplayer madness from Montu, I'll be the first to admit, like, that's just cool. I've watched my fair share of that. I liked those. I did. They were interesting. They were fun to watch. I wouldn't do them, but yeah. Like, how many of you, I'm sure, like, yeah, leave a comment, raise your hand, whatever. If you liked the Multiplayer Madness series, you know, if you still like it, you know, it's a good show. So I would definitely recommend dedicating someone to fixing PvP to the point to where people are giving positive feedback about it. I know some of you most well-known content creators are very big on multiplayer content. So making multiplayer smooth should be a priority. Like, I said you, but I meant your. So Paradox, I know some of your most well-known content creators are very big on multiplayer content. So making multiplayer smooth should be a priority. Yeah. Paradox, you're shooting yourself in the foot by having bad PvP. Because Montu, A-Spec, all those other guys that are doing multiplayer content, they will bitch about it. And they have hundreds of thousands of people watching them that will hear it. How is that a good business model? All right. I think I made my point. Even have its own dedicated personnel. However, please, so this kind of contradicts what I just said, but hear me out. Please, just whatever you do, Paradox, try to turn... Okay, whatever you do, Paradox, don't try to turn Stellaris into an esport. Please don't do that. No, just no. Let the players do that under the table if they wish. I'm not saying, Montu makes multiplayer madness. He puts money on it and makes tournaments and stuff. That's cool. But making that the focus, making esports the focus of Stellaris will kill this game. I'm telling you right now. It will absolutely kill this game. Because what happens, we know what happens with the esport games, right? They start listening to the 1 or 5% of players, and they start making all these balance changes. You know, I just talked about overbalancing, right? That's when the overbalancing rolls in, and that's when the game gets ruined. So, no, please, don't. Yes, make multiplayer better, but do not try to turn it into an esport. That's the asterisk there. Please do not. I'm begging you, don't ever try to turn it into esport. You will kill Stellaris if you do that. So, again, this is feedback. This is my advice. This is my opinion. You know, whatever. Paradox, do with it what you will. Another huge topic, the UI. This is another hard one. The UI, guys, right? We're talking about that now. You know I can't leave without talking about that. There are way too many parts of the UI to go over at once, so I will just name my biggest request here. Can you guys guess what it is? Please add a UI element that tracks your economic changes from month to month with details as to why they happened. So kind of like a production statistics or something. For example, if I lose 15 alloy gain when last month I had 45, I really need to know why that happened. As of right now, there's almost no way to track that, there's no way to track that. I have to guess. This is further aggravated by the job issue, but we already talked about that. So yeah, guys, I mean, let me know if you agree or disagree with me on that. Like, I mean, you guys have seen it in my live streams. Like, my economy will be good, right? Like, say, my energy credits will be good, and then all of a sudden they'll be shit. They'll be a complete, like, 180 deficit, They'll just tank. And I won't know why. And I look around, I check all my planets, I check everything. And they have this little drop down here with, what's taking it up. But yeah, surprise, minus 300 enemies a month. Where did that come from? Paradox, I need to know what caused that so I can fix it. But I don't know. So I'm just stuck with it. I can't change it. See, I can't change what I don't know about. This is why you have to add this thing. Or make it so that this shit doesn't happen. Or happen as easily. So that's kind of the thing. We need to know why those deficits happen. We need to know why those changes happen from month to month. Yeah, it'll take more development time, it'll take more work, but this is quality of life. You work on quality of life. And no, you don't get paid for it right away, but sometimes you do. On top of that, you will eventually, because you will retain customers. What happened to retaining customers, by the way? Current business landscape, current business paradigm. What happened to retaining customers? What happened to customer service? Seriously. Where'd that go? I remember when the customer was always right. Don't you guys? I know some of you do. Some of you were born too late. Some of you were really young, right? Some of you guys are teenagers or whatever. But I'm telling you, there was a time where the customer was always right. The customer was always right. And the attitude was, how can we make the customer happy? How can we make the customer want to buy our product again and again? And basically go, shut up and take my money. How do we get the customer to do that? That was the attitude for a long time when I was growing up, and even in my early adult years. But then something happened. Something happened to the paradigm. Now, with a lot of companies, it seems like their attitude is, how much money can we get from our customers while giving as little in return? And it's almost like they're saying, give us money, and then we'll give you this. No, that's not how it works. No, you give us this, and then we give you, or you offer this, and then we give you our money. But no, it's not like that today. These companies, AAA developers mainly, not all indie developers, but some, have this attitude of like, how much money can we sucker from our player base while giving as little content in return? That's the prevailing attitude. I call it the age of anti-consumerism. But you know what? That's about as close as I get to that kind of stuff. I'm almost done, guys. I promise. I have 2 slides left. Okay? I have 2 slides left. And then we'll wrap it up. And by the way, those of you that are still here, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with me. So, let's see. So here says, the last topic I want to bring up, and man, this has been a long video. Oh boy, it has. Is the idea of Stellaris 2 or a sequel to Stellaris. So, to give you guys context, a couple, like about maybe a month ago or a few weeks ago, and you might be in this room right now, somebody brought up the idea, asked me what I thought of Stellaris 2. And it was out of left field, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I considered, I was like, oh, wow. Given what's happened lately, you know, all I could think about was City Skylines. And what happened to that? I was like, oh, man, I want to say, hell yeah, Stellaris 2, but dude, then I think about City Skylines. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want that to happen to Stellaris. Can we all agree? Paradox, listen, dude, if you agree with me, get on to that Dev Diary. Leave a comment, say, dude, we cannot have City Skylines 2 happen to Stellaris. We cannot do that. That cannot happen, right? None of us want that to happen. We need to make that loud and clear to Paradox right now. We need to tell, dude, you need to make sure that does not happen. So now, yeah, a viewer asked me about this recently, and I wanted to discuss it here since I think it's relevant to the future of Stellaris. I have one major concern about Stellaris 2. Lately, let's face it, you guys have struggled with your recent sequel releases, such as City Skylines 2. That is sad, too, because I was looking forward to that game, but I didn't pick it up when I saw it had mixed reviews and the controversy surrounding it. This cannot happen with Stellaris. Obviously, for my sake, but also for the rest of us creators and the community. We love your game. We love your game you have made here. Despite everything I have just said, Stellaris is a beautiful game. So this is where I get a little positive, guys. You know, Stellaris is a beautiful, beautiful game. It really is at the end of the day, despite everything I've said and all of its flaws. We keep coming back to this again and again. I keep playing this again and again. I would keep playing it even if I wasn't the bread and butter of my channel. So, Paradox, I mean, I actually should thank you. If it wasn't for this game, I may not have this many subscribers. I still think I would have got here eventually, but who knows how soon that would have been. Your game put me on the map. So because of that, you deserve a thank you from me. And Paradox, again, you know, yeah, Paradox, thank you. I appreciate it. You have given me opportunities that I didn't know were possible. I remember when I had 0 subscribers, guys. I was at 0. You know? Now I'm here. And obviously, you're never as far as you want to be, but you know what? It's fine. I accept it. We got work to do, right? We always got work. There's always work to do, but you know what? I'm in a good place. I'm getting paid to do this. That's insane. I mean, seriously. How many YouTubers right now busting their ass are not getting paid? And yeah, I owe some of that to Stellaris. I owe some of that to you, Paradox, so thank you. I will say that. I'll be humble and say that. Thank you. I do. I really thank you for this game that you've created. Seriously. You know, I want to get a little vulnerable here. And I know, see, Paradox, think of all the stuff I've said over the past couple hours as like just tough love. It really is. I guess this has been like tough love. Now, the video made from the script that I'm reading is not going to be as tough love as my stream here, because I got real on my stream, but I'm not going to be real in this video. I'm going to be professional. But, you know, because I want the views, obviously. But the message is the same, right? So that is why I want you to know that I made this video to help you guys. I did, Paradox. I'm doing this. I'm trying to help you guys. I want you to succeed, Paradox. You know? So, yeah. That's why I want you to know that I made this video to help you guys, especially since you... And remember, Paradox, you asked for it. You asked for the feedback. I'm giving it to you. My community's giving it to you. So when it comes to Stellaris 2, and yeah, fair point, Synetic. I'll get to that in a second. So I have a solution, okay? So I recommend that to avoid making a stinker and making all the mods and DLC you came out with over the years irrelevant, just make a Stellaris 2.0 instead, or an upgraded version of the base game, where you can take all these ideas I have brought up, address them as you see fit. I mean, you know, where you take all these ideas I brought up, address them as you see fit. I mean, I hope you take some of these suggestions, but I understand if you do not. But I gotta say this right now, off the record, Paradox, do it at your own peril, because I'm telling you, this stuff is pissing people off. It's pissing me off. It's pissing other content creators off. I mean, we could argue about what, but yeah, Paradox, I know you watched that video from Matu. I know you heard him say that Warfare was bad. I knew you heard him say that. You heard him say that Pops were bad. Or maybe not Pops, but Jobs. I heard that. Did anybody else not hear that? I know a lot of you watched it. I did too. He's not wrong. Montu is not wrong. I think he was pretty spot on most of the stuff he said. Most. You know, obviously, me and him differ on the RP. That's no secret, right? We're diametrically opposed when it comes to the RP stuff. But you know what? It's respect. It's fine. I still respect it. You know, I still respect the RP. It's fine. That's a valid part of the game. It's not my part of the game, but like, you know, it's a lot of you guys love that shit. It's cool. I respect that. It's like, I'm not religious, right? I'm not religious, but my family is. I don't disrespect their religion, you know? I don't agree with it, but I don't disrespect it. I respect it. It's the same thing. You know, I don't really, you know, like, yeah, RP is not my thing, but I understand why people like it. I understand the appeal, and I have played role-playing games, and I have enjoyed them. So, you know, but yeah, like, but I think, honestly, out of all the videos I've watched from Montu, I think this is the one we agree on the most. Like, there is stuff, Paradox, that I'm telling you right now, you can ignore this. You probably won't even watch this video, to be honest. But if you watch this video and you ignore the stuff that I've said to you today, or you didn't watch it all the way through, I'm telling you, you ignoring this is not going to make it go away. I am just the messenger. I am. This is just the message. I'm just giving you guys a message. I'm giving you feedback. I'm letting you know what's going on. I have boots on the ground here, Paradox. Every day I'm streaming this game. Every day I got chatters and viewers. I make hundreds of Stellaris, you know, lots of Stellaris videos. I get tons of comments. You know, no, I'm not as big as Montu at all. You know, I'm not even big as like Tachyon Lance or some of these other guys, but I'm growing. People are liking my videos. There's a reason for that. And it's not my ego talking here. It's just a fact, right? Look at the numbers. I'm about to hit 4,000. I'm growing. You guys like my shit. Well, why do you guys like my shit? Well, maybe because there's some truth to it, right? So if I was full of shit, why would I be growing? So yeah, I think Paradox, I think it'd be good for you. I mean, I think it would be in your best interest to take what I said here today seriously. You know, I really do. I really do, you know. So to close, add additional content that enhances the base game but is still compatible with the DLC that we have and love. Some parts of this would be more difficult, but think of it as a super expansion. Same engine, but a much better base game mechanically and quality of life-wise. Simple. Simple. Okay? Blizzard did this. All right? That's an example of how this works. World of Warcraft did this all the time. They took their base game, right? They revamped the old world. Remember that change, guys? I thought it was amazing. Now, some people didn't like it. I was not one of those people. I thought it was amazing. They took the old world and they added so much more content to it. So many more quests, all this stuff. Dude, do something like that with the base game. So just so basically keep the base game, Paradox. You keep the base game. You you uptick the version number, and you add more content to it. And you work on quality of life, and you put this shit in there. And then you sell it. And people will buy it. I'll buy it. I'll love it. If you do it right. Of course, obviously, don't suck. Don't half-ass it. Don't be lazy. I can't control whether... Look, guy, I can't control whether or not Paradox does that. Ball's in your court now, Paradox. I have laid it all out at your feet. I have played this game for 6 or 7 years. I have made content for this for 3. Just about. This is all the stuff I've seen. You know? These are all... what you're seeing right now, Paradox, guys, viewers, is a culmination of all the things that have popped into my head over the years, just ever since I started playing this game. That's why this is so long. It's why I have so much to talk about here. This, basically, and the title of this video I'm going to come out with is what needs to change, what Stellaris needs to change in 2024. That's what the title is going to be, for sure. I'm about 90% sure that that's what it's going to be. I think it's appropriate. So, yeah. So, Paradox, and then I'm going to end the stream, guys. Obviously, it's been really long. 3 hours is a long time for me. Now, not long for some people, but some creators. But, yeah. But I think it was worth it. We had to sit down here and we had to have this discussion. You know, I had to answer this. Okay? So this is my unofficial answer. In the next couple days, I'll be releasing this video, and that will be my official answer and my professional answer. And that one will be much more watchable. It'll be much shorter, for sure. It won't be 3.5 hours. This was just a fucking, this is just me bullshitting, guys. But really, I mean, So, again, Paradox, if you're watching this, man, I really hope you don't blow me off. I really hope you don't at least blow this off. Now, I know I've yelled, I've cussed, I've swore. I haven't been the most presentable guy today, all right? But I think the message is the same. If you look past my presentation, Paradox, and you consider all the stuff here, you have a gold mine of things that you can work on that would just... It would turn you into the next No Man's Sky, I'm telling you right now. Everybody knows No Man's Sky, right? One of the biggest comeback stories in the history of gaming, probably the biggest. No Man's Sky, like, what did they do? They came out with a stinker, and they messed up, and you know what they did? They got to work. They got to work, they busted their ass, they didn't ask for anything in return, and they kept improving their game. Now, I'm not exactly suggesting that, you, Paradox, should do exactly that and not ask for anything in return, but if you just work on your game, work on what you have, and enhance the base game. That's what everybody plays anyway, right? I mean, we saw the review numbers. Anybody who's looked at the review count for the DLCs knows that way more people just play the base game than they do any DLC. So, yeah. So please take what I've said here to heart. I implore you. I'll but beg you, Paradox. I don't want Stellaris to die. I don't. I'm not here to berate you, Paradox. I am here, like I said, I'm giving you honest, brutal feedback. All right? I'm telling you the stuff that nobody else has the guts to tell you. I'm telling you the stuff that nobody else has the guts to say, or not many people. I don't think a lot of YouTubers will say some of the things I've said today. And, yeah. So, I do believe that Stellaris needs a sequel, but I think it needs to be done in this format. I don't think... What you don't want to do, Paradox, and I'll leave it, and then I'll leave after this, I swear to God. What you don't want to do, Paradox, is make a whole new engine. Don't do that. Do not make a standalone game. You need to take the game that already exists and you need to give it a facelift. You need to give it a renovation. You need to renovate it, and just make it better. That's what I recommend when it comes to Stellaris 2. And you can call it Stellaris 2. I mean, they did that with Overwatch. Now, I don't like the way they handled Overwatch 2. But if it hadn't sucked and they had kept the PvE and they had kept their promises and they had actually added some meaningful content, it would have been okay that it looked exactly like Overwatch 1. Don't you guys agree? I'm sure some of you might disagree with me on that. But really, if they had, with Overwatch, if they had just kept Overwatch, if they had kept Overwatch 1, but they added a shitload of more content, actual real content, they completely, they worked on the game, they fixed all the issues, and they made the game amazing, even more than it was, like, nobody would have been bitching. Nobody would have bitched about it being the same game. So, really, like I said, I don't think Stellaris needs a new engine. I don't think Stellaris needs to be a standalone thing. I don't think you need to start over. I think you just need to evolve. So, you just need to evolve the base game. So, give the base game some love. All right? Stop pumping out stinkers. Okay? And filler DLC. Stop with the filler DLC or slow it down to a crawl. More like slow it down to a crawl because it still is relevant. But you need to be pumping out Machine Age every year. I'm telling you. We need a Machine Age like event every year. Okay? We need something big every year. This something big every 3 years intermixed with all this useless shit. No. And I will call it useless stuff. I mean, you can disagree with me on that. Like I said, a lot, and I know for certain that Astral Planes was not popular. Okay? And I don't think Cosmic Storms was popular. Now, I think Grand Archive did a little better, but it still doesn't have nearly, I can already see it doesn't have nearly as many sales as you guys would want it to have. So, what do you have to lose, Paradox? Try out some of the stuff that I suggested here. Think of this as a blueprint, a roadmap. Like you could just, look, I know it's not your idea, and I know you'd have to humble yourself to take my ideas here. But if you can, I'm telling you, you won't regret it. If you make these changes, if you take everything I say today and you implement it, you will have the greatest game ever made. You will get so many new players. Word of mouth will spread. I mean, maybe I'm being fantastical here. Maybe I am delusional. That's what I see. Like, if they did all of this, if they worked on all of this, they would get so much revenue, it would be stupid. Their game, Stellaris, would go back on the top 100 overnight. And, it would pass up, because right now, actually, let's take a look. I hate to spend more time, but you know what? Whatever. It's live stream. Hopefully my computer doesn't crap out of me. That's the other reason I don't stream for longer than this. But so we'll go to the store and we'll go. Let's see. Noteworthy top sellers. Let's see, top sellers. So, of course, number one is Call of Duty, right? Surprise, surprise. Counter-Strike 2, surprise, surprise. So let's see. Let's look for the first Paradox game. Okay, now this is interesting. Age of Wonders 4, but only has 11,000 reviews. That's weird. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, it looks like Age of Wonders 4 shot up. That was a surprise. But that's a small game. That's still an obscure game. So, looks like Helldivers and Space Marine 2 are duking it out right now, because Helldivers kind of redeemed itself, I guess. I've been seeing the feed lately. But let's see. That's a side thing. Sorry, let me focus here. What's Crusader Kings 3? Okay. That's what you got to be. Number 44, Crusader Kings 3. If they implemented all these changes, I'm telling you, Stellaris would be near the top. I called it. I called it. It's a bet. Yeah, it's a bet. It's a gamble. But I would bet money that it would shoot up that far. It would make headlines. YouTubers everywhere would be talking about it. You would be applauded. The benefits to your brand. And let's talk about brand for a second. Paradox. The benefits to your brand for doing this. Unbelievable. Because, see, the thing of it is, I don't think a developer right now has done anything, would have done anything like this. Listen to their player base to this degree. Like, actually just go, you know what? We're going to listen to what you say, everything. We're going to implement it all. Now, I mean, I can dream. I know that's probably not going to happen. I know you guys are going to, at best, you're actually going to see my video for one, which I don't think is going to happen. Okay? I'm just doing a Hail Mary here. I'm just doing my part. That's it. I can't control whether or not you Paradox sees this, but like, maybe you see it. And, maybe you implement a couple things. I'm telling you, Paradox, if you implemented everything, like I said, your problems would be solved. I'm not even a developer, and it's pretty fucking obvious. It really is. Like, I'm telling you, this stuff, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Is there anything on here that I've mentioned that you think is bullshit and not worth Paradox's time? That shouldn't be fixed or is wrong or whatever? Like, is there anything here I've said that's off base that wouldn't make people happy if it was done? Is there anybody that, I mean, is there any downside to pumping out Machine Age every year instead of Cosmic Storms, Aspiral Planes, and Grand Archive? By the way, the name Grand Archive, that sounds so exciting, right? Oh, it sounds so exciting. Yeah, I know you don't judge a book by its cover, but I mean, come on. Let's face it, we do. We do. I mean, I remember when I used to play games growing up, dude. If the title looked stupid, there was a good chance I wouldn't even try the game. You know, back when games were on the shelf. You know what I mean by games on the shelf. Yeah, when I was growing up, when I was your age, my games were on the shelf. Okay, so like, yeah, my games used to be on the shelf. And I would look at the title and be like, I'd look at the back. That's all I had to go off of. I didn't have Steam reviews or nothing. I'd look at the title, I'd look at the back and be like, I'd look at the pictures and be like, and then I'd come up with my conclusion. But anyway, where was I going with that? All right. You gotta make things interesting. Paradox. You gotta have intrigue. You've gotta have spectacle. It's gotta be exciting. You have to pull at those emotions. You know, the name Grand Archive does not pull at my emotions. Okay? Humans are emotional creatures, regardless of how logical or intelligent they are. It's that simple. Now, okay, I'm done with the whole lecturing and shit. Like I said, this has been a long stream. It's just, these thoughts are a long time coming, guys. I have had this stuff in my head for years. And now's my opportunity to give voice to them. So, and I just did that, which is great. Trying to make sure I haven't really forgotten anything. Obviously, you know, if you guys like my stuff, if you like this stuff, go ahead and like and subscribe, leave a comment. You know, keep coming back. This is the best way to hang out with me besides going on my Discord. Speaking of Discord, I'm going to start popping in general chat from time to time, especially when I'm bored. And I'm just going to turn my stream on. And, you know, if you want to hop in there, you can. You can take a look at it. You don't have to be a member or anything. Speaking of membership, I have a join button. You know, go ahead and click on that and watch the video. And if you want to invest in my channel after that, go right ahead. I appreciate it. I only have one membership tier right now. It's just $5. Nothing big, but you get access to my backlogs and member-only content that I produce. The first 10 members we get, I'm going to make a member-only video, and I'm going to make member-only live stream. It's going to be great. So that's what you have to look forward to. If you invest, give me something, and I will definitely give you. Hopefully, I can give you something back. Yeah. So that kind of thing. But regardless, and we talked about this today, fellas. Regardless of anything you guys do, thank you for everything you do, including the view and the watch time. I appreciate it. So with that being said, I think that's enough. I don't have anything else to say, Paradox. Yeah, I hope you see this. I do. I hope you see this, but probably not. Probably not gonna. I don't think I'm big enough yet, guys. Maybe if I had like 50,000 or something, maybe they'd see it. I don't think they're going to see it. I really don't. But, yes, I will leave with this. My recommendation to you guys that have watched this, spread the word. Go on to the Dev Diary, leave your thoughts, answer it. Leave a comment on that Dev Diary. Tell them about this. If you believe what I'm saying here, link it. Link my videos. Or this one and then the one I'm going to make. Link those two. And maybe if enough people get on there and, say the stuff that I just said in this stream, we can make some change. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? And we could say we were there, right? So we were there when Paradox turned around. So, or at least Stellaris turned around. So, yeah, maybe, yeah. I'll leave with that. So let's go, guys. Let's save Stellaris. Let's save Paradox. Let's do what we can. Let's do our part. And that's all we can do. Have a good night or good morning wherever you are in the world, and I will see you tomorrow.